Hey everybody, welcome to yet another Procrastinators podcast interview. Long fucking time coming, this one.
That's right.
I'm finally interviewing the man behind the channel, really.
Yeah,
Best
the man
guy
behind
ever.
the curtain.
Definitely, well, you're like, it's like actually an official position now. You are the manager of the channel. You always kind of were, but now it's like we actually have like a documentation that you get paid to be that guy.
That's true, and I am underpaid for all the work I do, but I understand that, and it's a passion project anyway, so I'm cool with it.
So what is it with what the hell is the deal with the... Get these fucking feet away from me, you fucking weird.
I got my feet up sticking over his face. Okay. We're the same room, by the way. He's visiting my house.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Visiting Cincinnati.
Not doing video because it's 3 fucking hours long.
Yeah.
And, you know...
It's a hassle.
Who the fuck wants to render 3 hours? Who wants to look presentable for 3 hours?
That's the real thing.
We've both got our pants, like, riding all the way up into our crotches and shit, trying to expose as much leg as possible.
Maybe that's a problem for you, dude. I look good as fuck.
House.
Everyone loves my legs. Check that Arrow manga video.
Yeah,
the people
true.
love it.
So, Nate, you essentially started the PCP.
True.
Well, you're the one who sort of... I guess we all had this idea that it would happen, that we would have a podcast together. And then we kind of sussed it out. You're the one who sort of took charge, started the channel. Yep. And you've been on every episode but one.
The one that Nino was on.
Yeah.
Racist. Nate is a goddamn racist. Yeah, I would have been there too if I was out of town in like Washington or something at the time.
And the funny thing about it is that like even though you've kind of been like even though you run the channel, you've been on every episode, you clearly have the most investment. I don't think anybody realized it like until we started doing the Patreon because we created or you created probably a table of like who all had been on every episode and you're on all of them. And we were like, what the fuck?
Oh, that actually wasn't me. That the credit for that goes to the like the fans, the PCP fan chat. They were the ones who actually made that. But yeah, it was interesting to look back at it and see how Nate on every single one except for one.
So what is it like? I want to know why. Like, why are you so into the PCP? Because nobody else seems to give a fuck about it.
It's true. It's really simple, dude. It's really simple. It's that I see all of you guys as incredibly valuable resources that I am interested in maintaining. Excuse me, a relationship with for whatever purposes, and so. Because, we've been saying for a long time, we've said this countless times, but, like, we are interested in the idea of doing projects together in general. And the PCP is, like, it's just an excuse to, like, keep us together.
Right.
To keep us doing stuff and involved in each other's shit. Because, as you've seen, like, I'm the guy who generally pushes for what little space for collabs there is between us, like in the Monster Musume video and stuff. Yeah. So I'm more than anybody because like my dream job is what Red Letter Media does, having a crew, running shit, making stuff, like having it's like they've got a life living with their friends, doing exactly what they want to do, and I don't know, like they divvy up the work and the profits amongst themselves, and they've got incentive to succeed and play the game well. And that seems to me like the perfect life. So out of purely selfish reasons, I'm interested in keeping everybody together. These people who are very talented, all you guys, and have these skills that many of which I don't have, that are, we fill each other's holes and stuff in a very gay way.
Yeah. Extra gay.
So...
Let me emphasize that to everybody.
That's right. Please. And that's really the long and short of it, Because, like, before the PCP, before we started that, like, we weren't doing anything together. And we were hanging out in the fan chat, or not just, like, a chat that we called Procrastinators, and that was fine. We've been saying like, hey, we should do a podcast. We should do a podcast.
We had done podcasts together before.
The Horsecast,
which is sort of how we understood that we would all like, because the Horsecasts were great, and we all loved them, and we all thought that they were worthwhile. So it was like, obviously, we could do this together.
It was just that someone had to like go through the rigmarole of making a fucking channel and like naming it and doing all that shit, and just knowing that's what I'm good at, actually doing the shit no one wants to do.
And it was a question of like how interested is any, like, whose channel is this going to be on, and if it's its own channel, how are we going to grow it? Yeah. Like, is any of our individual audiences going to care? Because there's sort of a push and pull with the PCP where this is like the greatest advantage and the greatest problem with it is that it inherently causes people to associate all of us with each other. Right. And this is like the benefit of that is that we have lots of cross promotion. If we do collabs, that people get it, people can become a fan of us as a group and stuff like that. But then the negative parts are like that we just kind of get sucked into one another's enigma in a way. You know, like there's ways that our channels are all different, and they shouldn't necessarily be like having the same viewership and stuff like that.
Right.
And so in a way, it was a question at times, like especially in the beginning, of like, well, I'm friends with Best Guy Ever. If we make a podcast, that makes perfect sense to each of us.
Sure.
But our audiences might have no idea who one another are. Like, for me, the biggest problem with doing a podcast with you and Jesse in particular is that you guys are very edgy. Not like intentionally. I don't mean to say like,
remember Kill la Kill one back in the day that you had to put the big disclaimer at the beginning of?
Yeah. Well, just like what I mean by edgy is like not like you're going out of your way to be, but just that like you guys have no filter.
Yeah.
And I had always had like much more of a, you know, I never tried to be like politically incorrect, to put it simply, especially back then, because I was coming out of the Pony days, and I was like, I was borderline SJW in some ways, you know, like, not that I believe in joking about other stuff. You know, I believe like, hey, I don't have to think this stuff to talk about it. And now I do like insufferable social media argument, which is beyond the impossible level.
You've had your journey along this road,
But well, just because I see it as like, if people don't get it, fuck them. You know, it's not our job to make it understandable for them. But back then I was like, a lot of my audience isn't going to get this. They're going to hear the constant misogyny jokes and be like, I don't like this, and I'm upset that you participated in this.
Well, you know, I mean, for me, I think a lot of it comes from like my many years spent on 4chan, and I'll defend that place till the day I die, because I love this little niche community of people who retell their own jokes endlessly, perfect the art of telling their fucking jokes. And you know, it is fun to have like a little area where you know, you can make jokes that are incredibly offensive, and everyone gets it, and everyone's laughing.
And that's the thing about I think the problem with 4chan is when people bring it out of 4chan. Like Jesse hates 4chan to death. Yes, he hates everything about it. But it wouldn't be a problem if those people were containing it in 4chan.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing. It's like when people defend 4chan, they always talk about, oh, the internet's the wild, wild west. It's the only place where you can be, like, everybody can be yourself. It's like, do that there. That is the wild, wild west. The rest of the internet has been, it's been homesteaded. You know, people are, you can't, like, the internet is real life now, you know, like Facebook, your whole family's on there, your job is on there, and the things you say have consequences in the real world. Well, like, so like you got to deal with that.
We'd have to get into the specifics of like the particular issues here, because like if the issue is like people are saying shitty things to you in your YouTube comment section, like what can you do? Like, people are always going to be jerks. If it's like them like giving you death threats, like I mean that's a different, we're having a different conversation at that point.
What I mean really is that like it used to be that people saw the internet as a place where you can just be an asshole, because it's not the real world.
Even I don't subscribe to that.
But
like,
the internet is the real world now, you know? So it's like, rather than see the entire internet as, oh, it's a place where you can go to be an asshole. The internet is the real world. But 4chan is a place where you can just go be an asshole, and it should be that way.
When I am on 4chan,
just don't take it off 4chan.
When I'm on 4chan, I am a big shit posting piece of shit who's deliberately out there to make people angry.
Same.
But when I log into my Gaia Online account, you know, I'm a delight. I'm a gentleman, a scholar. I'm tipping my fedora all day, you know, when I'm not closing the pool.
It's just about, you know, knowing who your audience is, what company you're in, and because most of the internet is rampant autism, they don't know better.
I was going to say, it's a lack of social awareness for what you're doing. To people who bring that kind of super edgy humor out of the proper context, that's their problem. They're fucking up, and you know, they'll be probably socially punished accordingly. Guys like Jesse will shit on them and tell them to die and whatnot.
And but like, I do want to talk to you about 4chan, because you are a long-time 4chaner, and I am too.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been like a huge memer. I've never been on B, like, at all. I think I went there once and never again. Were you ever a B-tard?
I was really never a B-tard at any point. Mumpy's probably a bigger B-tard than I am.
I don't even think he is. He was like a R9K guy.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Yeah. No, I've spent like 90% of my time on 4chan historically was on V. And V is like B light. In a way, like, V is the second most popular board.
V is at least on topic, though.
I mean, the shit poster would disagree. They would complain about those fucking hot pocket eating mods not doing their goddamn job, keeping shit on topic. Too many fucking e-celebs, man. Yeah, I've spent V really is like its own little culture. Well, I mean, that's what I love about 4chan in general. Every board has its own culture. I've got a friend, John, who's a gigantic TV board goer, and all the time he'll tell me about these jokes that
I don't know how anyone lives on TV. Monkey's a TV guy too.
They've got their own culture,
TV
dude. That's
is
how.
awful.
It seems okay. Everyone says that
it's like literally 50% Bane posting, and 50% is this Kino, and that's every fucking thread.
You're missing the oh god, what's that guy's name? Like, there's that pedophile from the Nickelodeon network. Like, there's posting about him all the time.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Bane posting's a bit. I forget. There's a fucking joke. People from TV, correct me in the comments. I forget what it is.
Dark Knight Rises came out in like 2011.
It's become its own universe, dude. It became real, as I think Monkey documented in one of his recent videos.
Yeah, the porno parody.
Well, the porno, but even more than that, there was an incident of a plane crash with no survivors over Le Bain in France.
Oh, yeah.
With and at the wreckage site, you could see like guys who look like Dr. Pavel and CIA in the crowd, and the flight number was 4U. So like, their efforts made this thing real. It became real. It's a what's the word? It's like a standalone complex. That's that's what it is.
Yeah. So. But yeah, so you've been on V forever.
Yeah, and and I was gonna say A to a lesser degree.
I've been on A forever,
and also Fit. Those are the three boards that I historically went on.
Yeah, you worship at the altar of Ziz.
I actually was. I mean, I like Ziz. I respect him. He made some mistakes, which got him killed, unfortunately.
What did he die from?
Well, he had like a heart issue, and he was in a Bangladesh brothel, and he was doing a bunch of like speed or something.
Of course. What better fate for a member of Fit?
It's a good way to go. It's a good way to go.
Fucking taking speed in a brothel in Bangladesh.
And like
so every Fit. This is why you worship him.
Of course.
He lived the dream.
And he has his heart cracked out. His heart like blew or something. But actually, much more.
Did he die balls deep?
I don't know, man.
I hope he died.
I don't know. I don't know if that was in the police reports. I'd like to find out, though. I'd like to go investigate with those. Monkey wants to travel to Isla Vista to interview the people to find out what was really going down with Elliot that fateful day. Yeah. I got to go to Bangladesh and talk to some prostitutes for a little bit. But really, Scooby 1961, or just Scooby, is my real fitness hero, who I've been watching for many years. He is a god of fitness. He taught me everything I know. Like the sticky on Fit has a link to a bunch of stuff that's relevant, and I read Starting Strength and all that stuff. But Scooby's videos were really what taught me piece by piece. And I've got a long way to go. So like, everyone says I'm really fit, but all I see is like all the inadequacies I still have in terms of that shit. I could lose 10 pounds. I could gain 20.
What body are you trying to get?
I would like well, I mean, I know he's a meme, but like Vegan Gains has a great body, or Jaxblade has like a great body. I'd like to get that.
Jaxblade is like maximum. Jaxblade is like 3% body fat cut.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, he's super cut, which is great.
I don't know if you're trying to be like a cut guy.
No, I am going for cut guy. I'm purely interested in aesthetics.
Then you do have a long way to go.
I have no interest whatsoever in like functional strength. Just don't give a shit. I'm only interested in looking pretty. So everybody, if you care about fitness, Scooby 1961 on YouTube. He's a god. Let me tell you the quick pitch for this guy. He cares about fitness incredibly dedicatedly. His whole life is devoted to it. That's actually not true. He's an engineer, which that's like actually a great thing about the guy. He's so able to devote his time efficiently between being a fucking engineer, which he's retired of now, and just like builds a plane in his garage that he makes videos about, and then fitness, which he does just as a pure passion thing. And he's totally dedicated to doing it all for almost free, as little as possible. Like, he's about getting you fit for free. Unlike those fucking six-pack shortcuts, all those pieces of shit faggots, they're trying to take advantage of people and this craze. Scooby is a fucking philanthropist trying to better humanity, and he's a hero for doing so.
You ever into Hodge Twins?
Actually, yeah, but I usually watch their... I watched a little bit of their fitness stuff. Was always more interested in their... I'm doing the head shake thing. They do... Balls deep, them sugar walls. Yeah, I have watched a lot of their stuff. I'm blowing out the fucking mic. Not for fitness a little bit, but Scooby's the best. You can't do better than Scooby.
I think maybe part of the reason I've never gotten fit is that the only fitness channel I follow is Bro Science. It's just all irony.
He'll lead you down a dark path.
Yeah. Well, because I had friends who were big into fitness and fit, so I know all these guys you're talking about just from them. But like the only one I actually followed was Bro Science.
Bro Science Live is definitely the funniest one, but he'll put you in. Not T-Rex mode, the opposite of T-Rex mode, where you only work out your upper body and don't do legs.
He'll also put you into like Heart Attack at 30 mode.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's all about like drinking and doing the weights and doing random shit.
You know, sometimes guys who are intense into fitness can get a little too caught up in the game. You got to learn to enjoy life sometimes. And I'm just saying, Bro Science Life is there to remind us of that sometimes. So he serves, even though he's a big meme, he still serves a purpose. And he's a fit boy. He's
funny as hell.
Yeah, he's great.
So you spent all that time on fit. You've learned how to be a fit boy.
More or less, yeah.
I'm surprised you're not going for Communist Body.
Well, the thing don't trust me. I've analyzed Communist Body. Communist is really not that fit. You can get way more fit than Communist level.
Yeah.
But, I mean, one of my goals in life is to be able to do a decent Communist cosplay. And I think
you're close. You just need to lose a little midsection weight.
That's true. Yeah. And get a little tan. I'm not doing the tattoos. I don't. That's something I think about, doing that. I love Communist. I want to be him. He's my hero.
Yeah, that was like...
There you go.
My brother Victor, like his whole high school career was, I gotta get Communist Body and get the tattoos. And
one of those guys, yeah. You know, I was never... the guy who really got me... I started my whole fitness journey, and I, went on and off of it, but it started in elementary school, and then I took a couple years off just because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, but like in elementary school, when I saw DBZ, and specifically,
everybody,
it was Goku.
Man.
Yeah,
everybody
who
grew up on DBZ, like what the hell?
I didn't watch Dragon Ball, I had just seen DBZ, and we were moving around, my parents were moving us around a little bit, and we didn't have cable for a long time. And occasionally, I had seen this show, and like when I would go over to a friend's house, I'd see this show called Dragon Ball Z, and I was like, what is this thing? This looks crazy. Like, I remember being blown away by the fact that there were, like, a story that continued between episodes.
Yeah.
I was like, that blows my fucking mind, dude. And I just... One day, we finally got cable, and was finally able to, like, sit down and be like, oh, so this is what the show is. And it fucking expanded my horizons. I was like, I want to train. I want to be strong like this guy. So the first time I started going to the gym was when I was, like younger than 12, like 10. And I didn't do it very long at that point. But that was when the seed was planted that would, bloom to an extent later on.
Do you think Dragon Ball Z has done more for fitness than Naruto has done for ramen?
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. I mean, I have never eaten... This is personal, but I have never eaten ramen because of Naruto, but I have worked out because of DBZ, so that's what I think.
Well, I have the opposite experience.
Oh, really?
I've never worked out a day in my life, but I've eaten tons of ramen.
The funny thing about ramen about Naruto,
I don't know how much of it was because of Naruto.
I didn't even realize that Naruto was like a reference to like a thing in ramen.
You would have known that if you read Shonen Jump, because they explained it all the time.
I read the Naruto chapters, but I didn't study them or whatever.
Read all the little in-between shit in
okay.
Jump.
So yeah, I never got the books. I read it all online as soon as I got into Naruto kind of late. Like it was after my whole Adult Swim phase.
Right. What I meant by read Shonen Jump is like the actual magazine that was published in America.
That would have explained to me. I remember the day that I realized that there was something funny about Naruto's name, and it was when like years and years later. It was when Jiraiya dies, like way later in the series in Shippuden, when Naruto when Jiraiya dies, and like there's a flashback to like how Jiraiya came up with Naruto's name, and it shows him like eating ramen, and he's got like the little stars with the swirls on them. That's is what a Naruto is.
Naruto, yeah.
And he was
it's
like
a fish flake.
And see, that's still weird to me that thing is a Naruto because I don't even have that association in my brain. I just think that it's this orange ninja man, but it's like, oh my god, he was like named after a fucking ramen thing, and that's why he loves ramen so much. Exactly. It's all connected.
You go back to chapter 1 and it all
I had no fucking idea.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So DBZ inspired it.
Yep.
Fit stoked the flames.
Yep.
Now you're a fit boy. But
aspiring.
I would you say that your origins as a fitness guy are obviously more aesthetic and psychological.
Yes.
But you talk about fitness more in philosophical terms these days, I would say.
Sure. Like it's good for, like if you want to maximize happiness in your life, being fit is a good way to help.
Well, and just the general, like, humans should all be trying to better themselves.
Right, sure.
Which you go on about that kind of stuff a lot, but that's not really the origin of why you're a fit boy.
Well, I mean, when I was 10, I wasn't really interested in the future of humanity. You know, I was more selfish at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm curious about, like, I mean, normally with these interviews, I sort of, towards the beginning, go through your whole life.
Sure.
So tell me about where you were born and to whom and why.
Sure.
What the fuck happened?
Yeah, I don't know how much this will be a repeat from the Ben interview, because, of course, Ben Saint is my older brother.
Ben mostly started from, like, college, so...
Okay.
If you want to start younger or later, I don't...
Well, you know, okay, when I was a kid, my parents moved around a bunch, and I know Ben was kind of carted along with them, but that was when he was very young. By the time I was born, we had moved back to... Or maybe, like, just after...
What is the difference in age between you and Ben?
Ben and I are about 2 years difference. So, yeah, right about 2 years. We had moved back to Massachusetts. Or I think we lived in, like, Texas for a little bit, moved around maybe a little bit. But soon after I was born, we moved back to Massachusetts, essentially, like, where my parents had started from. Because my dad, he's a psychologist, and he was working for this company that had, like, a lot of chains kind of across the country. And so, you know, he just got shipped from a bunch of those around. But that company closed down, and so he moved back and started his own practice in Massachusetts. So, you know, I grew up there in this kind of, in this town, Rehoboth, in this little, it's kind of pretty rural. Like, there's lots of farms in the town and stuff. It's a pretty big town. But, like, where we lived, there was, like, no kids anywhere nearby. So all growing up, it was just me and my siblings. You know, there's me, Ben, who's 2 years older, and my sister Grace, who's 4 years younger. And so it was pretty much just us. And I think it was because we were so kind of isolated that when video games got introduced into our lives, and like we when I was like 5, I was big into Power Rangers. I was a huge TV guy. And then when video games came along, it was like, holy shit, now I've got this whole thing I can actively participate in that's going to change my life. Our uncle, and my mom had a sister, Maggie, who died of leukemia when she was young-ish. And, like, her boyfriend, Chuck, I believe was his name. I haven't seen him in a long time. But Maggie's boyfriend, Chuck, he gave us a original Nintendo console when we were very young, just because he thought we'd enjoy it.
What year would this be?
This would be about 1994, 1995, maybe.
Okay, so Super Nintendo's already out, but you've got a regular Nintendo.
I mean, you know, it might have been before that. It might have been even before that. I was born in 1990.
I mean, Super Nintendo came out in, like, 1989.
I mean, this whole part of the story is hazy, because I don't really remember like when these things happened. We got a Super Nintendo sometime later, and then later on we would get like a PlayStation. Whatever. We don't need to go into the specifics of all that, but like was introduced to video games, was introduced into like TV shows, specifically like Power Rangers made a big impact on me, as well as Transformers.
Same.
So right out of the gate, like Japanese, you know, stuff was like appealing to me on that level.
Not that either of those is necessarily all Japanese, but
not all. Well, you know, they're Japanese in origin, so that and Transformers is a Japanese animated shit, right? Am I wrong about that?
It has Japanese animators on it.
Oh, really?
But it's an American
Wasn't it written
show.
by? I know, like, you know, Hasbro makes Transformers and shit.
Right.
Okay, well maybe I'm totally wrong then, but Power Rangers at least had its roots in Japan. Yeah. I'm drawing a fucking connection here, did you?
Yeah,
Help me out here.
I get it. I also grew up on Power Rangers and Beast Wars, so like...
Beast Wars, yes.
You know.
Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. I did that for a while. I guess in school I was... I don't know. Like, it was funny. When I was like a real young kid, and this is probably common, I was a little bit more outgoing. As I got older into middle school and high school, I started to, I don't know, pull back and stuff a little bit. I was more... I guess I'm kind of like I am now. I was really focused on like achieving the stuff I wanted to do and didn't give a fuck about the people around me.
What did you want to do as a middle and high schooler?
I wanted to act. I wanted to do films. Well, not films, but I wanted to do stage plays and stuff through mostly high school, but a little bit... Well, in middle school, I started doing chorus, and in elementary school, too. But like, I was a big chorus guy for my entire childhood.
Yeah, this is something that hasn't really come up much in your content since the Pony days, but you're a big musicals guy.
Yeah, I sure, especially when I was a kid, I was really big into musicals. And even now, you know, I've just been listening to the music of Hamilton quite a bit.
Oh, yeah?
I do like it a lot. It took a little while to grow on me. The whole rapping thing, it's not like typical musical fare. So it's a little bit different the way I adjust to it. But now that I've been kind of immersed in it, I am really enjoying it. Though it's funny, my my favorite song in the soundtrack is like what King George sings. It's like the only like white song on the soundtrack, so it's just like some dude singing like a classical musical, and he's like the evil racist, like slave driving evil king, and he's got the best song in the album.
Of course, you love that.
Of course I do. Of course, that's me to a T right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I, in high school is really when I started doing bigger stuff. Did plays and musicals every single year. Did a whole bunch of stuff.
So what are some of your favorite musicals from back in the day?
I mean, I really enjoyed Wicked. People shit on Wicked. I thought Wicked was... I saw it on Broadway. I went to we took a class trip at one point. I think it was with like the musical or the performance, the theater group. We went to New York and saw Wicked on Broadway, and it was fucking sick. It was dope. Plus this girl who I liked was there, and she was totally into it. Was not into me, but she was there, and I enjoyed having her near me, so that made it a really good time. Yeah, so that I don't know. I just had a really good experience with musicals all through high school.
I know you like Jesus Christ Superstar.
I fucking love Jesus Christ Superstar.
Jesus Christ.
That's
Jesus
the meme song,
Christ.
but there's better ones.
But it's not a meme. It's a good song.
Okay, that's a good song. But the best
one is... It just comes to your mind when you think of the name of the show. The best one's the overture, the opening song.
Exactly, that one.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember how it goes.
Me too.
Fuck.
It's Judas is such a fucking badass in that
Jesus,
musical.
do you something or something.
Yeah. Why'd you touch the backward chance in such a strange land? You'd have managed better if you'd had a plan.
No, you're doing the meme song.
What?
That's the meme
song.
song.
Oh, fuck, you're right. Oh, that's a reprise from the opening song, I think, in the meme song. God damn it, I can't fucking remember how it goes. It's the one about Judas like being like, Jesus, why are you fucking up? They're gonna get mad at you.
Jesus, listen, won't you something my hand?
Oh yeah, all I have is that I want us to live.
Yeah.
And remember, I've been your right-hand man all along. You have set the world on fire. They think they found the new Messiah, but they'll hurt you when they find they're wrong. Judas is fucking dope in that musical.
Yeah,
like the ones from the 70s,
part.
The new Broadway ones are kind of shitty.
I saw it.
What a singer that guy is.
I saw a newer Jesus Christ Superstar where it had the original Jesus, but everyone else is younger.
That guy's been playing Jesus for like 1,000 years.
Yeah.
I think he finally retired a little while ago, but yeah, he's been into it.
Yeah, I saw him with that, which was pretty good, except that Judas was white, and I was not.
Yeah,
okay
that's not
with
good.
that.
That's not okay.
Judas had to be black.
Judas is evil, so he has to be black. Oh,
yeah.
I apologize for that one. That's beyond the line.
All right, so
hey, joke. Why do black people have light palms? Why do they have white palms? Because there's a little good in everybody.
Oh.
There you go, folks. Enjoy that one.
I've actually heard that one from real racists.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble now. I'm just playing, fam. I'm just playing. I really have
heard that from real racist people.
You see, that's the trouble about being such a big 4chan guy.
Yeah.
I make a lot of racist jokes, and they are 100% ironic. I mean, if you just listen to like the stuff I'm passionate about philosophically, it's completely contrary to all this racist shit. It's just so funny. It is so funny to offend people. So, yeah, there you go. That's a big...
It's funny especially because, like, I'll say all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I do it with, like, total self-awareness of the idea that this is going to offend someone. And you always do it in this way that's just like you can't even understand that someone would get offended.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, it almost feels like you're always kind of shocked when people are, like, actually, like, mad about something.
I just wish everyone were chill.
Yeah.
I guess I wish everyone were chill.
I wish that.
Yeah, I suppose I'm a little naive when it comes to that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so you were in high school, big into musicals, theater, trying to become a theater boy.
Yeah. I was there for really just the sheer enjoyment of performing on stage. Because I really got into it.
Were you ever like a main guy? Like
I was a main guy the entire time. I was by far the best male singer of the group, and was always the lead man every single time.
Okay.
And
did any popularity come with that?
Yes. As a matter of fact, in high school, I had a fan club, as it happens.
Wow.
They were a bunch of, well, I don't want to shit on them, but I think they would agree, they were kind of a creepy group of like 3 girls. No offense to them.
And you didn't manage to fuck any of them.
Oh boy, we don't want to get into my sexual history, but let's just say that I made a few mistakes along the way in terms of being a pussy. Here, I'll give you one. There was one time when my friend Jillian in high school came up to me and said, "Nate, look at me." At this time, I famously, I had really long hair down to my waist, like all throughout high school. So this was, and I wore these sick Kingdom Hearts armbands, one with the nobody symbol and one with the heartless symbol. Yeah, dude. 4 years.
I can only laugh because you and Victor had the same exact high school life.
Yeah, we
like identical.
And not to mention,
he also was in theater and got popular because of it.
I never got really popular, but yeah.
I mean, he was also like a quiet dude who nobody really talked to.
Yeah.
But then there was his most famous moment was like he did they were doing like some shitty drug PSA play or whatever, and like. You know, nobody was like really taking it seriously, but like the people in the audience were just talking over it the whole time.
That's fucking
shit.
shit.
Victor just like snapped and gets up and like lectures the audience on how they like you know. I know, like he's like, look, none of us care about this either, but you can at least have respect and like you know like listen to the thing. And he became like famous after that.
That's
like
great.
It was like an incident or something.
Hey man, those what is the word I'm looking for? Taking charge moments, you know?
Yeah.
That's what makes you a man.
But he also had long hair and wore like a black trench coat and shit. So I mean, like he looked like he could be in Section 13 or whatever, Organization 13.
I don't know. I mean, I've talked about this before, but famously, there was a pivotal moment in my life that made me like this weirdo introverted guy. I also was in like marching band through all college, through all high school and stuff. But I was deeply antisocial, and it was all because of this fucking movie. One of my favorites of all time, Vampire Hunter D. Bloodlust, dude.
Yeah,
Vampire fucking Hunter D. Bloodlust changed my life.
In the worst way.
It made me think like, oh my god, D is such a fucking badass. All I need to do is be like, because like all the bitches and all like the men in that shit are like, he's so stoic. He's such a fucking badass.
The point of it is that he's a half vampire, so like he has a magnetism that like literally mind controls people to fall in love.
I didn't get that. I didn't realize that just being quiet in the corner all the time and like thinking you were such a badass would like not do anything alone. You're not drawn by
Yoshitaka Amado.
I know. That was my problem right there. So I spent my high school days. It had some weird effects on me. But yeah, I was just like, I decided to stop talking in class because I wanted to be. Though, you know, to be fair, some of this might just be an internal rationalization for legitimate shyness that I don't want to cop to. It's possible that that's true too. I really don't know. But that movie sure felt like a turning point in my life after I watched that. It was too good. It was too fucking good, dude. Vampire Hunter D is a crime. It's a crime. It owes me my sex life in high school back. I want that back.
So you spent all that time trying to be cool and mysterious, and it backfired.
Yeah. Did I mention that, you know, in addition to the Kingdom Hearts wristbands, I wore weighted leg bands with, like, weights to make me strong at all times?
Did you learn that from DBZ?
Yeah, I sure did. I was copying Goku.
I did a lot of that.
Did you too? Yeah.
A lot of times I thought, like, oh, like, instead of, like, you know, like, working out, I'll just have, like, some kind of innate training going on by like wearing something heavy.
A little bit. I mean, these were like 5-pounders. And then the thing was they were full of sand. And like as I walked, because I wore them all the time, they would get worn out and the sand would start to leak. And like people would be like, "Where's this sand coming from?" And I don't fucking know, dude. I have no idea where the sand's coming from. You're gonna have to ask somebody else about that.
That's fucking great.
It was pretty good.
So anything else you want to share about your early life, or you want to move into college?
Yeah, anything else of interest? Oh, I didn't finish that story about that girl that one time.
Yeah.
It was just that, so my friend Jillian came up to me and said, Nate...
I'm gonna take a piss, but you can just keep talking.
Okay, I'll probably do that at some point, too. There was a time when... so my friend Jillian walks up to me and says, Nate, look over there at that girl standing in that doorway. And I did. And there was an attractive, blonde, curly-haired girl standing there. And she said, Nate... that is Jess, and she likes you. She wants to date you. She said these, like, this was the time when God was giving me my chance. and I looked over her. I made eye contact. You know, actually, no, I did not make eye contact. I was too much of a pussy. I looked at her. I looked her up and down, and I said, okay. And then I turned back and started reading my fucking Animorphs or whatever again. That's how I handled that situation. Which is just indicative of my social skills in general.
I have a lot of stories like that from all of my school life.
I just really remember this one because it was so clear. Like, Nate, right there's your chance. We're giving it to you. And I just, I'm such a different guy than I was back then. Yeah. Different times, man.
Thank God. Thank God we're all different.
Yep.
Thank God none of us are like our high school self.
I would not have been a fun person to hang out with in high school.
Me neither.
You know, to this day, I'm still kind of weirdly moody sometimes. Like, my reaction to being mad at people will be to walk outside and just stand there and wait for hours until they come out and say, Nate, what's wrong? I mean, not so much anymore, but like,
I've seen you in like just kind of this low simmer mode of like just annoyance.
Remember the time?
There's just a thread of annoyance boiling under the surface, and you just can't quite talk to anybody.
That happens.
I've seen that.
That happens. Remember at RadCon 2 when I started cleaning obsessively?
Yeah.
That was one of those.
Yeah.
That was how I chose to express my frustration. I don't even remember what it was about, but some frustration. I just started walking around and was like, I started cleaning. I didn't talk to anyone. I just started cleaning up, and everyone was like, what's happening? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And they were like, Nate, do you want some help? And I'm like, yeah, sure. If you feel like helping, I've got it, but if you want to help, sure. And then other people joined in. Yeah, I don't know. That's just how I handle being mad.
Everybody felt guilty.
Yeah,
that
like
they hadn't cleaned up and you were doing it.
I guess it's kind of a passive aggressive thing I do to avoid confrontation, which I wish I could change about myself. But hey, I'm working on it.
Yeah.
So that's high school, I guess. So that's pretty much high school.
So what did you study in college?
What did I study in college? Right. When I started college, my plan was to become a doctor because I really liked blackjack. Blackjack was like, again, my major life choices controlled entirely by anime since birth. I was like, blackjack is so cool. I want to be a doctor.
At least you had patrician taste.
That's true.
Like if there's two characters, like you weren't just trying
and blackjack. Yeah.
Like I mean, you had DBZ as a kid, and that's fine. Everybody gets DBZ.
Everyone needs an entry point.
But at least you weren't trying to be like Sasuke or something.
True, man.
You had like fucking D and Blackjack, who are both badasses.
It's not bad. Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, they are.
Both classic '90s OVA.
That '90s OVA.
Why
for Blackjack,
had you seen so many '90s OVAs as a teenager?
Shit, man.
Who got you into
these?
these?
I saw them all on demand. They weren't available on any channel, but they were on demand for some reason.
And why were you allowed to buy on-demand movies?
They were free. If they weren't free, I never would have seen that shit. Me and my siblings spent a ton of time when we were young watching shit on demand on our fucking TV cable plan. And thank God. I mean, I never would have gotten into anime. Yeah. If it wasn't for that. In like the big way that I have now.
Because those were like stuff that you could maybe find at Blockbuster, but it'd be hard.
I never paid for shit. Yeah. To this day, I don't buy any anime. I don't do any of that. I don't support the industry at all.
Yeah, why are you so into that philosophy of not supporting art?
Okay, I'll tell you why. I'll explain this right now. So I don't buy any anime ever, and it's not like I'm opposed to it, but I just wouldn't even think about buying any of them. And it's entirely because it is so easy for me to get them through, like, torrents and stuff. I've just developed such a rhythm of doing it that way that it is way harder for me to do something like even search Crunchyroll for a show I want to watch, even if it's free. It is easier to me to get it downloaded and just have the file on my computer.
Crunchyroll aside, I mean, the only reason I use Crunchyroll is that I find it easier than torrenting. Sure. Because when I want to watch something, it's always spur of the moment, and I just want to put it on and it be there. I don't want it to wait for a download. But like
that is a hassle.
But like, the only reason I would ever pay for anime now is just to put money into the industry, And like anime aside, because honestly, I don't think your money goes anywhere. Like I don't blame you for not paying for anime, but like, if it's like an album or something, or like Patreon, you've never given to a Patreon.
I have never patroned anyone ever at any point.
And is it just a philosophy of like if you had lots of money, would you start doing it?
Oh, if I was, like, super rich and had no monetary concerns, I'd be happy to give away my money. I would totally give it to the people who I think are doing, like, good work and deserve, and, like I want to see more of this shit.
Let's say in a year and a half.
Yeah.
This is my prediction. Yeah. This is my very optimistic, happy prediction for you.
Things are going pretty good right now.
Let's say in a year and a half, your student loans are completely paid off. You're living entirely off of Patreon.
Reasonable. That's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. You're living entirely off of Patreon. Let's say you're making... let's be fucking generous. Sure. Say you're making $4,000 a month.
Okay.
Are you patroning
Absolutely people? Not. No one. Not a chance. And I'll tell you why. It's because that is not a level where I'm like 100% set. If I would need to be a millionaire probably before I'm like comfortable giving away any money. And it all comes back to the fact that if I can get away with not paying for something, I will do it. I am entirely motivated by a desire to have as much resources at my disposal as I possibly can. And like my survival and my well-being comes first before, because I'm a big guy who's into like like we were saying, self-improvement and self-reliance and not like fucking over people to advance yourself. That I'm completely against, but just bettering yourself is the way you can better the world, is my philosophy. Yeah. So I really think it is. I mean, I probably take this to an excessive degree with my like never patroning anyone, just have no interest in that. If the money went 100% to that person, I'll tell you, I would be 10 times more likely to do it than the fact that any of it gets snagged up by Patreon. I don't give a fuck about the Patreon people. They're fucking suits. I don't give a shit. What? Even though they put out that millennial face about
what? Yeah. So, do you ever feel like guilty about the fact that you profit off of the existence of anime but don't put anything into it or anything like that?
No. I don't feel guilty about it at all, but I would like to contribute. I would like to.
Or like any of the YouTubers who like were a huge influence. Like if Mr. B-Tongue opened a Patreon, would you consider, or just like if he just had a PayPal donate link, would you just like throw him $15?
I'll tell you this, I would never do it. Just like I'm feeling like donating to Mr. B-Tongue today. If Mr. B-Tongue was like, guys, I'm going to be a full-time YouTuber. I need to make $100,000. Whatever. I need to raise that much for this project I'm thinking of. That would tempt me much more. If there was
Have you ever given to a Kickstarter or anything?
Never.
Never.
I'm super frugal. I don't give money to anyone. Fuck everybody else.
I mean, just to describe to the audience, like I think you make at least the second most amount of money in the PCP
at this point. Yeah,
like
at this point.
I don't know.
Though that was like within like that changed from like yesterday to today. So that's
I don't
recent
just mean
thing.
on Patreon. I mean like all together.
Amount
of money you make.
I have a real job that's like I could live on my normal job for the rest of my life happily.
Right.
If I wanted to.
I mean, I don't know how much you want to say any specific numbers to try to figure out if you make more than me or not.
I don't feel the need to do that. Well, let's leave it ambiguous as to which of us is doing better. That'll be more fun to speculate.
Well, the point is that I'm in your house right now, and it is very clear to me that you are living well below your means.
Oh, yeah,
like you could easily afford a much better place.
Yep.
I'm just going to describe this is the interview, but I'm going to describe the stuff that you walled.
Okay.
Nate's entire apartment is 3 rooms.
And a bathroom.
And a bathroom. That are all in a row. So it's like you start off in like a little living room area.
No doors either.
There's no doors in the house. So it's a little living room. It goes right into the bedroom with a bathroom in the middle, and then right into the kitchen, all the same size. All about, let's say, what? How long would you say this
I don't know. Maybe like 40 to 50 feet long. Is that accurate? Is that good?
What? You mean the whole house, right?
Oh, you're talking about length, right?
Yeah, I was talking about one room. I'm trying to think of what one room. Oh, you're talking
square footage. Yeah. I got no fucking idea, dude. I did not know.
Each room's probably
it's a small-ish room,
8 by 12 feet or something.
Kind of high ceilings, I guess? I don't know.
Anyway, the point being, it's in like this kind of rinky-dink apartment complex.
It's a shitty neighborhood in a shitty apartment complex, for sure.
Definitely, it's weird that parts of it don't seem so bad and then other parts do.
Well, it's because
out
there's a
on that
university
back
up the
porch,
street.
it looks like shit, but then out front, it looks fine. But anyways, it's kind of a shitty neighborhood, shitty apartment.
Yep.
You can hear other people. I'm sure other people can hear us.
Yeah.
You've got. There's not a lot of like furniture or anything. Like it's very bare bones.
Your trip here has motivated me to actually get some furniture.
Yeah.
So consider like half of what I got now just not here before you got here.
Yeah.
More or less.
Like
the chair you're sitting on right now is a car seat from my car.
Yeah.
So that's the
Nate
kind of
brought
shit
in a couple of car seats.
Yep.
So that was for me. Like you brought those in knowing I was coming.
Yep. That's right.
So I'm sitting in a car seat.
It's comfy though, right? That's a good car seat.
And where did that other you bought a new bed and I'm sitting on your old one?
Well, in fairness, I had been meaning to get a better bed just because like mine was it's a twin. It's like the small.
I could not imagine that being my. But
like a week ago,
that makes sense to me as a guest bed. But the thought that you were sleeping on that full time and you could easily afford a real bed.
A week ago, that was my permanent bed for the last 1.5 years. That's my bed.
I sleep on like $1,000.
Not me, dude.
Twin size.
My good bed here,
full size mattress.
My good mattress was like $240, and I was like, oh shit, fuck, I'm not gonna pay this much for a fucking mattress.
Do you not have any back issues or anything?
I'm fine. I don't know.
Maybe it's because you work out. Maybe it makes it easier. I was thinking about that earlier. Like I was sitting on your bed and I was like,
is that bed shitty? Is that bad?
It's not bad. It's just that I get bad back. Like I had like a really bad back pains because I was on like just an average mattress and in an average chair when I literally sit or lay all day to do my job. So I bought like the nicest bed and the nicest chair and no more back problems. But I suspect if you're healthy and you work out, you don't have as many of those anyway.
It probably helps.
I mean, that's the thing. Like your house is super Spartan, but like it makes sense for you're comfortable here. Like you don't care. You're not even concerned about it.
Yeah, like, this was the as soon as I found this place, this met my requirements. It's got internet that actually wasn't as good as I was hoping for, but is still everything I need. Yeah. That was like 90% of my concern with getting the place.
Right, with internet.
It's in an area that is, dude, you should have seen some of the places I was scoping out. They were like shit, like garbage. Like crack dealers seemed like they would be infesting the woodwork. I didn't see any, but they would have been there if I had been there at night. So this is like a decent neighborhood compared to the places I was looking at. But all I was concerned about was just like as low rent as possible. You know, has the bare minimum. It's got this place is nice by comparison. I'm happy with it. I don't know. It's just great in winter.
It's just that it's below what would be my standard of living.
I see your point. That's my thing. So that's the kind of guy I am.
Even though we make about
frugal.
The same amount of money.
It's because all my money, all I give a shit about doing is getting on that grind, making them videos, and paying off my student loans.
Right.
That's what I'm all about.
So if you let's say you pay off your student loans tomorrow somehow, they magically go away. Mm-hmm. You leave your job, like. Because you live so frugal, do you really need that much money on Patreon? Like, because Ben is similar to you in that Ben lives extremely frugally, but Ben...
in a different way, but yeah.
Ben, like, because of that, like, Ben only needs to make, like, $400 a month, and, like, he's
survive.
Okay with that because he's... You know, but you're kind of similar, except that you want to have all this overhead money.
I got ambitions for expanding operations all over the place. Right. I want a studio space because I do shit in my room here, which is perfectly fine. It's good, but I want like a studio where I can have all my shit ready to fucking go and make things whenever I want, and that would probably be in a separate location from my house. Yeah, man, and like. Yeah, I'll tell you, like, I'm not as... Well, I made a big post on my Patreon today, and you are a patron, so...
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah, so you know that, like, I'm not going to drop everything as soon as I make, like, the amount that I'm asking for. That is the goal for, like, survivability, and I'll probably change to monthly soon, so that's going to change as well. But... Like, I'm looking for, like, a middle-class lifestyle. Like, that is really what I'm shooting for. Right. And right now, with my current job, I basically make that. So I'm hoping to, like, emulate that. Because even though I personally am willing to live super Spartanly, the bitches don't come for free. You gots to have the green to make the scene. And that's not a joke. I want to have a place that will impress women because that is what you have to do. You got to do it. If you want to play the game, that's what you need. So, yeah. There you go. I need to make a certain amount of money to have the certain kind of lifestyle that I'm looking for. And, like, I want to be able to go out and do things, you know. I don't want to live like I did during Mia Maffava all the time. Just, like, only focused on churning out content every single day. It'd be nice to have some time off.
That's the world I'm trying to escape right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at your house because I'm trying to find a way out of this... Literally all I do is make videos.
And I salute you for it. It's exactly the right thing to do.
Yeah. But let's say tomorrow your Patreon makes exactly what you make at work. Do you leave your job?
The only reason the answer is no is because Patreon is inherently volatile, and I'm afraid that would change. There's no job security with Patreon.
Let's say
I would build up some savings first.
Let's say Patreon tomorrow is making 150% of what you make at work. Do you leave your job?
I mean, that's great, but what I would definitely build up some savings first. I would. Okay. I mean, plus I got to pay off my student loans. I'm not doing anything till I pay those off, in terms of quitting my job and shit. So I'm doing that. Then I'm building up. Like, I don't know the number, but I'm gonna save up some money because, like, as you can tell, I'm an extremely careful planner, frugal guy. Yeah. I want security.
That is the defining characteristic of Best Guy Ever. It's true. In my head is the extreme planning.
I really think that the people say this, but I really think it's true. I am, if you've seen my Gurren Lagann video, I am a Rossyu who desperately wants to be a Kamina. That's just, and I'm just not that guy yet. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. I'm going to take this opportunity to take a piss. Oh, well, that was fast. Well, whatever.
this out. Totally.
Talk about how cool my new glasses are.
Nate got some cool new glasses.
Yeah.
I'm not actually in front of the microphone yet, but...
Crank your volume, audience.
Yeah. Hey, it's still... Oh, good thing you don't pay for this content anyways. Fuck you.
Everything on the PCP is free except the main episodes anyway. They're not paying for shit.
I wonder if they can hear you pissing. Because you've left the door open.
I'm just so used to peeing, alone and being naked in my apartment and shit. It's weird having a guest.
Yeah.
But, no, in a good way. Okay, here we go.
Doesn't matter. I'm gay, so I will look at your PP.
Fuck, okay.
Quality content. This is high quality content. Me and Mafifa never ends.
Me and Mafifa never ends. What are you doing? 50. Oh, it's only been 51 minutes. Holy shit! I
Yeah.
feel like I've gone to my whole. We haven't even gotten to college yet.
Yeah,
and that's when
dude,
shit gets crazy.
These interviews are always like, you never realize how long 3 hours is until you live it.
Yep.
Anyway, what I was about to say, like, no one can really appreciate the level of planning you do unless they work with you.
Dude, that's entirely true. And the thing is, like, have you seen my new the final Me and Mafifa yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so you saw the ending.
Yeah, I watched it today.
So in the ending, I announced like
the Ghost in the Shell thing,
which is hype as fuck, and it's great. And like, it's this goddamn pixel animation. And I have told exactly 0 people that I commissioned that like a year ago.
Yeah, I knew.
Did you know? Have I shown it to you?
Yeah, I've seen the pixel animation when you first got it made.
Okay, I probably did for hype purpose, just to like show off
you just showed
you
me
guys.
and Ben.
Yeah, that sounds right. But I mean, I've shown I've got several of those things right now that are like various projects in the works.
The video parts of this video were filmed 2.5 fucking years ago.
It was. It's getting close to.
Well, the One Piece
slightly
one
over
was,
2 years
right?
ago. What?
The One Piece one was, right?
The One Piece one was filmed approximately 1.8 years ago, and the Ghost in the Shell one was filmed 2.1 years ago. I think that's about right.
Okay. So, over 2 years ago, you filmed footage for this thing.
Yep.
And over a year ago, you commissioned all this pixel art animations for this thing.
That's right.
And it's still in the woodwork.
And it's not like I've been fucking around at all. It's that I had to finish my goddamn degree and my fucking full-time job.
I forgot you were working on that degree until like a couple months ago.
Yeah, when I finished it in January. It was when it was finally done for final good and all.
Holy shit, I forgot you were still in school.
Yeah, so just for context, people, remember.
So me and Mafifa would not have been possible before the time it happened.
Absolutely not.
Like
I could have done it a couple months ago, I guess, but not by much.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yep.
To just give it like perspective, like the way I do content is I have an idea and then I write a script. There's no note taking, there's no planning, except for when I do like if I go into a show intending to write about it, I might take a bunch of notes. Mm-hmm. But it's at best like a whiteboard full, you know. You will come into like a podcast with pages. I mean, if you guys have watched if you've watched the live action Aromanga podcast, you'll see that Nate had 4 pages of printed notes. Granted, lots of spacing and shit.
Yeah, that's right.
That could have probably fit on a page and a half, but like, yeah, he comes in with shitloads of notes. You know, always doing like double checking prep. I think you always read the One Piece chapters more than once for podcast.
That's right. That's right.
Sometimes you'll even go back and read older chapters just to be completely sure that you remember what you're talking
about.
That's
100% accurate. Yep.
The fucking Kingdom Hearts lecture.
Yeah.
You spent like 3 hours just drawing that whiteboard.
Didn't turn out great. It looked great.
Yeah. I mean, I
had to make sure I was correct.
You probably spent half an hour just recreating the fucking logo at the top.
That's true. That did take a while. I wanted that to be good.
And like had like extensive note. Like it's just.
Yep.
It's just funny to see the way you work because like I can watch you do all that, and then you'll have like me and Jesse who will literally sit down in front of a camera and just stream of consciousness a bunch of bullshit, and
yeah.
Do you think how much of the note taking do you think is like that you have to do it, and how much of it is just confidence boosting?
It depends on what the topic is. Like every PCP, I'm like the biggest talker on the PCP, and I don't do any preparation for that stuff. That's like my fun. That's what I do for fun.
Right.
So I'm able to do that sort of stuff when I want to, but like I don't go into my main projects. I guess that projects into like the Eromanga stuff. Like I have a philosophy where I really hold myself to a high standard of like accuracy, because I think about like what I ask for other people when they're talking about a show is, I don't want people to be fucking. If you're talking about Eromanga and you're criticizing Eromanga, I expect you to know your shit. I expect you to be accurate. And to a certain extent, I think guys like you and Jesse are just like better at understanding things quickly and easily, whereas I think I always think of in Bakuman, I always think of I'm more like Ashirogi Muto, the guys who think, they describe it like they are not the artors, they are the hard worker, think about things, go over it 1,000 times.
I mean, if we're gonna bring up the Bakuman thing,
please.
Like I read through it in 2014 and was constantly comparing everybody to the PCP.
Yeah.
And you and Ben were Muto Ashirogi, especially because you were actually working together at the time.
That's right.
But like, both of you definitely have the philosophy of like, coming to meet the audience and like just working extra hard, and like, it's not about like to you, it's about making videos. It's not necessarily about what the videos are. I'm interested in telling a story, and like in my case, like the anime is my medium to tell my story, or to like make a point via the show. But it's like you're not doing it in like this idea of like, I have a grand vision from the beginning. I mean, you
sometimes I
would say that the way you create videos is like I don't want to say based on a template, but it's like you look at what even is a YouTube video, and then you like make that. Kind of,
I suppose
like,
so.
Like the Gurren Lagann one is heavily influenced by that Mr. Beatung video that you had so much respect for,
right.
And like Mia Mathova is like this idea of, let's try to make this more easily made and consumable content that could come out every day.
Right.
It's more about this like experimentation than it is about creating the specific video, which is like the opposite of Jesse, where Jesse is like, doesn't care what YouTube is. He just wants to make his thing, like whatever exactly how he came up with it, which is kind of why he doesn't have the YouTube success.
Well, I would argue that I have become more in tune with that as I've gone on. That I feel a lot like Jesse a lot of the time when I'm making content. But, I mean, my recent success, starting with Galco, that was me playing the game of YouTube more. I mean, the video itself was... when I'm making an idea for video, I'm really, at that point, not thinking about what YouTube wants out of it. When I was writing that script, for example, I was only thinking like, I watched Galco, wow, it was really good, had these thoughts about it, wrote them down, and then I'm sure there was some, decision making as to like what to include, based on it's going to be a fucking video, so I got to put the shit in it that makes sense. But it's after the video is really the writing and editing are done to amuse me, And I mean, that video had an editor. Snooping Turtle? Oh, God, I hope I got that right. And he did great work. He was wonderful to work with. But I was approving, like, every step of the way. He would show me, like, a minute. He was like, how was this? Or, is this good? And I would be like, okay, tweak these things. So, I was involved in the whole process there. And it really, like, the whole point of that video was kind of to get to that end shot and to like make that little speech at the end. Like, I make entertaining videos as an excuse to lecture people about things I think. Yeah. Like, that's really what it comes down to. And I'm gonna find a way to do it no matter what. That's what I'm interested in YouTube. Like, YouTube is my way to feel like I'm making a difference in the world in a way that I enjoy, which is great. But just to get back to the original point here, I felt like for a long time I wasn't making content that was really working with YouTube very well. Like Gurren Lagann Part 2, I was definitely, like, I was doing something very similar to what Mr. Beatung had done, but I don't feel like I was copying him. I just felt like my ideas were all inspired by it. And,
but I mean, like, at the time, there was definitely, and we all in the PCP had this, and still do to some extent, though it's waning away as time goes on. We had this intense respect for like what we saw as the ultimate type of video, which was the 45-minute, in-depth, highly edited analysis that covers everything. Like that was kind of what we worshipped. You had A Canterlot Wedding by Anthony C. was like your favorite.
One of my favorites still,
and the Mr. B-Tongue video.
That climax is fucking unbelievable.
The classic Mr. Plinkett videos, the Star Wars reviews that we all sort of look up to, Egoraptor Sequelitis, which was my big one, in the beginning. So like all of us had kind of gotten into analysis videos by way of these gigantic, epic 45-minute highly edited videos, and we all did ours. I did the Sword Art Online videos. YMS, another good example.
I
did the Sword Art Online videos in the Asterisk War. Jesse did
Movie Bob, another hero of ours. I'm joking. I don't.
I mean, really, that good is kind of this kind of video. But,
see, I actually have no idea what his content like. I just hear people shit on him, so that's what that joke's based on.
I actually did take a lot of influence from Movie Bob.
Hey, but there you go. In your physique,
not
I'm assuming you mean.
Hey, I'm fat and dangerous. That man is gross.
He's pretty fat and dangerous himself.
He's disgusting.
Especially to those fucking men's rights pieces of shit. Watch out for Bob Chipman. He'll fuck you up.
Anyway, you did the Gurren Lagann video. Jesse had like the horseshoe reviews and the horseshoe finale, and like that was kind of like at the time just the atmosphere of what we thought like a YouTube video was supposed to be, and because we liked it so much, we thought surely this is what everybody wants. Matthew Matosis was out by this point, and then like there was just kind of a moment where it became apparent that no one wants that anymore.
Well,
like, nobody cares.
It's funny that you're saying it this way. Like, these things, I think, were apparent to you. And the rest of us, I think, you've always been ahead of the curve when it comes... I mean, because this is like what you do. You're a YouTube guy on, in a serious
genius.
way. Right, of course. And to some extent, and like the Galco video was titled... and thumbnailed the way it was because basically of your suggestions, and it worked incredibly well. Yeah. If I had just called that best anime ever, oh shit, de Galco-chan, would not have worked, would not have happened. And Mia Mafova was... that was me saying, like, what I'm doing is just really not working the way that I wanted it to. Yeah. Like, I wanted... like, if I had kept doing what I was doing, to that degree, and maybe I'll fuck up and go back to that, but... because me and Matt just fucking ended.
I gotta emphasize this to the audience. Like, the PCP, like, the concept of us as a group is that we're YouTubers. Yeah. Like, we are friends who are YouTubers, and a lot of what we talk about is how we're doing our jobs. Right. Like, I don't know what... like, it's hard for me to imagine what other people think we do in the PCP. Like, is it just I don't know, a group...
Oh, what's the word? Burst-a-link!
Yeah, we're all just burst-linking all day. And I mean, we have lots of just casual conversations and shit around. But, like, I would say, especially for a long time, the bulk of what we talked about was YouTube. Like, what we're doing, how we're doing it, what we should be doing, just sharing ideas and advice and stuff like that.
Complaining when it's going bad and
bitching about commenters is probably 80% of all the interactions we've had. Anyway, like but the point, like the reason we're all friends is that we're doing the same job, and it's a weird job that not a lot of people have. And so there's not so many people you can relate to about it, and like sort of when we all stopped doing Pony and we moved out into our own channels, we all kind of were doing our own thing in a way, and it was very much like, let's share notes. Like, how's it working for you? It's not really working for me. Why is it working for you? Well, I'm doing this. Oh, well, I don't know if I want to do that, and like a lot, I would say the last year or so has been a lot of me growing more and more successful and going, guys, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. And everybody else going, I don't know, man. I could probably make it without doing that. And then a year later going, okay, I didn't make it doing that, so...
You're really describing me. You're really describing me.
Not just you. Like, Jesse and Hippo are very... Like, Jesse started up Not a Review, essentially, for that reason.
Still not committed to, I think, a...
But it's Jesse knows...
No offense, Jesse. I love you, brother.
Jesse knows what to do, though. It's just that
I think Jesse he feels like an anger that he has to change to adapt to YouTube, whereas I am not.
And also, it's just that his life is so all over the place that Jesse will just blink off the map for a month, you know, and like you can't do that.
It's tough to schedule things when you're disappearing.
Like he'll come in and do like a whole month of perfectly tailored YouTube content, but then he'll stop for a month.
He would say that like a lot of that recently was due to his basement flooding and fucking up his life.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. His life situation is always the main reason. Like Jesse, the man goes through hard times, you know.
Sure.
But like
it's
because he never just fully commits to I'm going to be a YouTuber now. He'll do it for a little while.
I mean, he still goes on about like I can't wait to escape this fucking hellhole of YouTube.
Well, he hates YouTube. You know, so like. But he also, if you look at the way his thumbnails and titles have changed over time, you can tell he's trying to do the thing.
The Not of Review is, I like my Japanese animes. Some of those he works. I mean, you know, for YouTube, he works too hard on them. But like, as putting that aside, the length is great. Those are really good videos, and like he acknowledged like that was his most successful channel.
He's always said that my Japanese animes is the one he wants to protect from his bullshit.
Right.
Like, he tries his hardest to make sure nothing that gets posted there is completely retarded.
So far, so good, I think.
Yeah. But it's definitely been like a thing amongst the PCP that like I've been kind of being like, guys, we have to and the only person who like immediately did it is Jeff. Who then blasted past everybody. If you look at the early Jeff videos, like whatever you see as a difference in the titles and thumbnails, I taught him that. He just took it farther than I was willing to, you know? Like,
gotta respect that to some degree.
He's even worse than that is Lachlan Still, who is a monster. I don't know if you watched The Pedantic Romantic at all.
Oh, right. I forget that that's the same guy. He's blowing up. You know?
He blew up because he's using like the dirtiest tactics because he loves it. Because he sees it as like a...
He's a Jeff type, I guess.
He literally will make like videos that have nothing to do with Sword Art Online. And like he made one that's called Sword Art Online is not what this video is about. And it's literally just a review of a different show. 20,000 views because Sword Art Online's in the title.
That's some next level shit.
Yeah, he doesn't give a Sword Art Online video. You should. It's free.
I'm not going to.
Free,
I'm not going
views.
to do it. I can't do it.
You don't even have to make it actually about Sword Art Online. Just give it a title that says it's about Sword Art Online.
I don't know if I have it in me.
It's literally free views, and like Lachlan took it to such a fucking extreme. But I mean, this is basically just like everyone taking the stuff that I was preaching and just going even farther with it. You know.
You know, that's great and all, and that's totally cool, but one thing I wonder about is if everyone's just copying you all the time,
will the bubble break?
When's the bubble break?
Well, that's why I love Mia Mafova so much, because when I look at Jeff, I think Jeff's got a big problem where he shills so much and everyone really hates it.
People are getting annoyed,
and he doesn't... I don't know if it's just because he has enough people who like him anyways that, I mean, you know... I have lots of people who hate my videos, people who turn on me. So,
a couple of heroic YouTubers out fighting the crusade against the evil, egotistical Digibro.
Yes, a couple of valiant YouTubers who are fighting the great battle.
Who is this enigmatic man? I just don't know.
But like, you know, Jeff definitely has an issue where like he's gotten to a point where there's a significant amount of his fan base who like hates him.
His fan base, you're saying?
Yeah, like people who are big fans who are leaving him because they can't take the shilling and they can't take the constant YouTube algorithm playing. You know, like I do it. I even tell people I'm doing it. I give people the blueprint of how to do it like me.
That self-awareness goes a long way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like and the fact that I'm like telling people how to do it and then not doing it a lot of the time also
it makes
helps.
people think you have integrity. Kind of.
Whereas Jeff, like people don't think he does, you know, because he's not being open about it, and he's going so far. And with Lachlan, I mean, he's obviously just having fun, and he's trying to grow his channel as fast as possible because he's trying to also leave, you know, be a full-time YouTuber. But like, I could see him adapting, changing with the times. But like, what's so great about Mia Mafova is that you basically did it without copying me, without copying anybody. Like Mia Mafova, most of the videos
would argue
totally
Fantano
unique.
was ripped off at a time or two.
Sure, I mean, you definitely
fuck you, Melonhead. This is my shit now.
You copied plenty of little things from other people, but like, there's some stuff in there the fucking Final Fantasy songs video. I can't believe I've never seen someone do that before.
Yeah.
Like, just sing the background music of their video.
That's the funny thing about me. I am a genius, but I am such a perfectionist that all my genius ideas get bottled up and they don't come out. Which is why something like Mia Mathova is such a great thing for a guy like me.
Right. Well, and it's such a good testing ground, because, like, I watched that video, and, like, I don't think it worked just because the pitch
mixing was
close.
fucked. Yeah, it was messed up.
But, like, I was like, but this is a formula you could do with anything. Like, you could have a whole channel that's just this.
Yep.
You know, like I'm thinking about Smooth McGroove.
Yeah.
That dude's been around for like 5 years now, and he makes one kind of video, which is a dude singing a cappella in 8 different screens. Like, Mia Mathova, there's probably about 7 video templates in there in total, and any one of those could have been a whole channel.
Right.
You know, like, you could have a whole channel of super energetic workout guy reviews random manga.
Yeah.
You could have a whole channel of, like, Nate does Let's Plays or whatever.
The great thing about it, yeah, that's really cool. I do like that about it. And the great thing is people are really starting to get invested in me as a person, as like a creator, and they see legitimately that I'm not fucking around. I've got a lot of fucking ideas that I want to share with people.
It was really the Angel's Egg video where it was like it was all crashing down on me.
Yeah.
Like, that I was like, oh my god, I didn't realize that I desperately want a video from Nate every day.
Yeah.
Like, because I just have always thought that you would never do this.
Yep.
Like, the whole time I've known you, you've been the perfectionist guy, the I spend 6 months on a video guy, and all those videos are great, but, like, I don't know, I guess when you see someone doing that, you kind of assume that the amount of time spent is a consequence of the greatness. Like you couldn't make a great video in 3 days. You have to put in that much work.
Right.
And then seeing Mia Mathova was like, no, this guy could do it. Like, you could put out videos as frequently as I do, and they'd be at least as good as mine, you know? So, like, that was kind of the thing. And it was Angel's Egg that brought that on me, that I was like, he's just talking unscripted about this movie, and I'm super interested, you know? Like, especially because it was a movie that... I'm sorry for talking so much through Nate's interview, not that the audience expects anything else.
This is relevant. Yeah, but everyone knows. Everyone knows what to expect.
Yeah. Go on. But, and I talked to you about this.
Right.
Fucking Demolition D. 2 years ago, announced he was going to do an Angel's Egg analysis. And he was working on it. And, like, this dude talked about it forever. He was like, it's one of his favorite movies. And I watched Angel's Egg in, like, 2008. While, like, barely awake. And, like, I didn't understand any of it.
Right.
I just watched it and I was like, well, that was fucking weird.
Sure was.
And I had no idea what happened, right? I mean, I thought it was cool, but... no real opinion. I just went, oh, it's another Mamoru Oshii thing, because they're all like that.
So quirky. Yeah.
So, like, he's saying he's going to do this, and I was super hyped for it. I was like, dude, fuck yeah, because he's only really done, like, one serious analytical video, which was the Ava versus Rebuilds, which was a great video series.
Sure was.
So it's like, man, I'm so hyped for Demo to get, like, legit again, you know? And he was talking about it, and then he kept putting it off to do other things, to do, like, fucking... Himoto Imaru-chan, who the fuck cares?
That video is a little bit of a disgrace. No, I take it back. I love you, Demo. Please come back. I worship you.
but like he'll come back and do like a little thing here and there, and then he just like blinks off the map. And the thing is, I was following his Twitter, and he was like, he literally can.
I mean, he's gone. He's gone. Been over a year since his last video.
Yeah, and he doesn't even tweet anymore or live stream.
Like, no, he still live streams. That's not true. People, he does stream.
Well, he for a while, like, he was talking about the Angel's Egg video on Twitter, and he was, like, posting screen caps of, like, I guess there was some kind of compression problem with this video, so it kind of had, like, artifacts in it.
Oh, so he gave up on the project. Yeah. Like a pussy.
Like he couldn't figure out how to encode the video right, and, like, I think he lost some of it at some point, and then just, like, gave up.
I mean, I would feel the temptation to give up at a point like that, too.
And I even, like, brought it up to him in, like, Nino's live streams that he was in. I was like, hey, when's the Angel's Egg video coming? He's like, I don't know, man. Yeah. Like, and so I'm sitting here, like, 2 years later, like, I really wanted this video because no one else has stepped up and explained Angel's Egg. Yep. And I've had people ask me to do it. I've had people like, hey, you ever thought about doing a video on Angel's Egg? And I've told them Demo's working on one. Right. So I'm not going to do it because he's going to do it. And he already has, like, if I just go watch this movie and like try to make an analysis, like who's to say if I'm even going to find the real meaning of it? Like this dude clearly found something meaningful, and that's why he wanted to make a video, which you also did.
I mean, full disclosure, I did research to understand what was going on. It's not like I understood it immediately
but
myself.
You watched it and desperately wanted to understand. Like
as soon as I finished it, I was like, I need to know what the fuck is going on.
Because you care a lot about Yoshitaka Amano's art.
Yeah.
You are obviously very into the
best
visuals
Yoshitaka Amano film.
So...
And Bloodlust, the one that ruined my life, is another one, and I'm saying this one's better, so there you go.
Did you ever watch 1001 Nights?
No, but I really want to. I will one time. Yeah. At some point.
But yeah, so you come out with this video, and it's like...
Are you saying it's better than Angel's Egg? I'm just totally...
No.
Okay,
it's just pure... It's like no narrative whatsoever. It's just like crazy animation.
Knowing that going in, it sounds great. I'll love it.
It's like 20 minutes of nonstop insane Yoshitaka Amano. It looks like he animated it himself. That's what's good about it.
Dude, like, seriously?
Yeah,
that sounds sick,
seriously,
bro. Okay, alright.
But you know, you make this video, and like... It's just a vlog.
Yep.
But I didn't understand this movie, and now I do.
Yep.
So to me, that was worth as much as Demo's video ever would have been. Like, yeah, this is not...
Like, all the Holden reviews, like, whacking yourself off, animating the, like, fucking words moving around the screen. Who the fuck gives a shit?
Yeah, exactly.
No hate on you, Holden. I just think you're wasting your time with that shit, dude.
Total hate on you, Holden.
I'm not... I got no hatred for the guy.
Anyway, like... Yeah, like, sure, it's not like a super rewatchable, like, piece of art YouTube video.
Yeah.
But I got something out of it in a big way.
Anyone wants to watch a fucking YouTube video about what the fuck Angel's Egg is about, you can watch the video. By the way, people commented, and as I was doing other research, like, there are alternate interpretations. Like, there's this whole thing about how you really can make a strong case for how the anime is, like... And it's not like it excludes, like, my interpretation at all. It's just, like, there's multiple layers here. You can also say that it's all about, like, masculine and female relationships. And you can say, like, it's this woman, it's this little girl, like, protecting her egg, and then, like, a strong man comes along and, like, shatters it, robs her of, like...
With a giant
weapon. Fucking, you know, schlong, and,
like...
Then she immediately, like, turns into an adult, dies, and then, like, eggs are produced. So, like, she's, like, sacrificed for, like, you know, the future of... mankind or whatever. So like there's tons of parallels you can make to that shit too, but I mean I as I admit it's what I got out of it. Like it's my interpretation.
And I'm sure they put lots of loaded imagery into it just to be able to have all those different interpretations.
Without a doubt.
You know?
Without a doubt.
Like that kind of symbolism is pretty fucking blatant, you know. An egg and a huge weapon. What could these represent? I wonder. You know? But like. That video, it even gave me more confidence in my own stuff, because, like, a problem I have is that I make shitloads and shitloads of vlogs, and, like, I'm always explaining something I've already thought about, and so I watch the video back, and I'll be like, okay, and then I'll post it, and then, like, a day later, I'm like, this is worthless. Why did I make this? This is so stupid. But then I watch something like the Angel's Egg video, and I'm like, okay, this... Like, now that I'm outside of myself and, like, watching someone else do what I do, I get why people enjoy it. You know, like, because you already know what you're trying to say. So you explain it, and you're like, who the fuck cares about this? But it's like, for the audience, if they don't know this stuff, then it's like, to them, it's a total mind blow.
That's a struggle I go through with every single video. And, like, considering that, like, me and Gabe have talked about this a lot. Like, the fact that we work on a video for so long, like, that feeling only gets worse. The longer you're looking at the same idea you came up with 6 months ago,
that's why
it's brutal.
That's why I keep my fucking work schedule so tight, because,
Like you really have to manipulate your own psychology and have a grip on yourself and keep yourself disciplined if you want to do that shit.
There was a time I really wanted to do stuff like the big 45-minute edited videos, and like I can do it. I did it with the part 1 of the Sword Online season 2 video. Like, the reason I don't, it has nothing to do with success on YouTube. Like, this was before I knew that you needed to have constant content. It was entirely because after about 1 week, I hate my video.
Right. It happens to everybody.
Just having to hear it over and over again, you gradually are like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, does anybody get this? Like, am I saying anything? And in some cases, I might have even been right. Like, there's some videos I go back and watch, and I don't get the point. And I'm like, okay, I guess I was just totally wrapped up in my own head on this one, and, like, I didn't really explain things that well. But, like... yeah, it's really dangerous. Like, the more time you spend on a video, the more you gradually come to hate it. So, like, when you do get it out there all at once, like, even if you don't get it, you know, if the audience likes it, then the audience likes it. Like, right, even if you're not sure why, you know, like, there's some vlogs I make where I'm like, I literally don't know what the appeal of this is, but it's got 10,000 views and it's got all upvotes and the commenters like it, and nobody's bitched on me on Patreon that I'm not making good enough content, so I guess it's fine.
That's kind of the funny thing about living the Patreon lifestyle. Like, really, I mean, well, I don't really say this all the time, but I'm always thinking that, like, if you're making like 10 billion, whatever, you're making like $10,000 a month on Patreon, but like what you make is like something that seems worthless. Like you make one fucking MS Paint drawing, just as, whatever, as an example. You're a postmodernist artist and you make shitty MS Paint drawings once a month and you make $10,000. Like, people might be angry about that or be concerned, but that seems silly to me. It is purely a contract between you and the people giving you money. If they are satisfied, that is literally the only thing that matters. And which is why I mean, to a certain extent, I don't really like that people can just see what you make on Patreon.
But you can hide that.
I know you can hide it, but even doing that is kind of like, you have to make a choice to hide it, and I think the audience will resent. I mean, because I personally would be a little suspicious. Just, I don't even know why.
I think I'd only be suspicious if it changed from what, like, if you started off that way, which some people do, then like
I don't like the idea really of people knowing how much money I make. It rubs me the wrong way a little bit, because I mean,
definitely
you
weird
fucking people out there don't tell everyone how much you make,
right?
But there's an accountability thing,
it's not normal to have your paycheck known to everybody, and really it should just be, but like, people shouldn't be basing their patron pledges on how much you've made.
It should be based on how much you value the content and nothing else.
Which is something that we all absolutely do. Like, you don't patron anybody, but like the rest of me and Ben have both done this, where like we see someone reach a certain amount and we're like, well, he's already making enough money.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Like, God, who did I do that to recently? I've done it to a lot of people. Like when they pass me. And I go,
that's not how it should work. That's not how it should work.
Oh, that's why the version of Patreon where it hides the money is great, because it still shows the goals. Like, it says, oh, we're 80% to our goal. You don't need to know what my goal is, because it's what's comfortable for me. It's not what's comfortable for you.
Right.
You know, some people will be like, ugh, how come you need $2,000 a month to live?
I need to fucking live, nigger, goddammit. Exactly. I need to survive in this fucking... Oh, man, I really get fired up about this issue. People, like, this is a big thing on 4chan. This is one of the things that I hate about 4chan. Like, how... It's not that they're, like, anti-e-celeb. Like, that, you can hate e-celebs all fucking day. That's fine. It's that they resent people for making money online, making content. It's because they are just so fundamentally wrong in their basic assumptions that, like, what they're making is not valuable. And that's just so wrong. It's like, why aren't you giving your money to fucking, I don't know, Comcast? Like, they deserve your money. Or, I don't know, like, anything else.
Comcast doesn't deserve anyone's money.
Yeah, that's a bad example. But, like, you should be fucking giving it to, like, some give it to fucking, I don't know, Fox News or whatever.
For me, for example, give it to the anime staff. Don't pay the guy who's just talking about anime. Pay the people who make the anime. But for a lot of people, I'm giving them more than what the show is. Like, I mean, for me personally, I'm obsessed with analysis videos. And, like, with video games in particular, I don't play games. I just watch videos about games. Like, I think I beat 2 games last year, and that's, like, it. I played through Doom and Dark Souls 3, and that was it.
This is reminding me of how excited I am now that BMF is done. I can finish playing Demon Souls, and I can beat Hollow Knight. Oh, my God.
You haven't beat Demon Souls?
Of course, I beat it many times, but I'm playing it again because I love it so much.
It's perfect.
It's going to be great.
It's a perfect game.
It is perfect. Gibbo's video about it. Everyone go to Hypocrite.
I haven't seen that yet. I didn't get the chance.
Oh, dude, you should watch the video and look at Jesse's comment from the furnace room.
Didn't he leave like a giant...
It was a giant novel-sized comment. It was fucking great.
Why?
Shout out to Hypocrite
Why
and
did he write a
Jets.
novel-length comment?
Because he liked the video so much.
Okay,
he should just make a video out of literally that comment. It would be great.
That's excellent.
I love you, Hippo.
That's another thing I love about the PCP is we all love each other's shit so much.
Yeah, we do.
In spite of the fact that, like, and this is funny because Jesse's always advocating for the death of the PCP, but, like, I don't know if people understand why. And it's because the PCP podcast brings out the worst of our interactions.
Sometimes,
where, like, it's because we overstuff it. We always end up letting too many people in.
We're working on it.
We're never hard. Like, the last one I was on... there was like 5 people scheduled to be on, and then Hippo just would not be on.
Well, I'm sure we agreed that he would be on.
No, he just complained all day. Like
Hippo complained?
Yeah,
Hippo's not a complainer.
It's because you weren't there.
Yeah, okay.
And
maybe I missed it.
Like you and Ben weren't around. And you were like, we were waiting for you guys, and Hippo was like, "Oh, I really want to be in this one," and we were like, there's already 5 people signed up. Your name's not in the thing at all. And he's just like, yeah, but I really want to be in this one. And we were like, well, maybe Ben won't show up because he hasn't gotten there yet.
I want Hippo to be involved in everything I do. He's so wonderful.
That's the only reason none of us kicked him out, because we always wanted there.
Who could deny
Hippo? But then
Hippo?
we ended up with a 6-person podcast that turned into a clusterfuck, and people always argue. And then everybody, I mean, I never do, but like, a lot, like Ben or Jesse, if they get mad in the podcast, that is real anger that stays with them all day.
That's
like
true.
they will keep bringing it up, how mad they were about that argument, you know, and like it you know, mixes our audiences in annoying ways. Tons of memes and bullshit, and the awful PCP fan chat that probably shouldn't exist.
You guys hate it more than I do. I'm in there all the time. I just poke my head in every once in a while. I find them totally inoffensive.
But all this stuff like springs out of the PCP.
Yeah.
But when you look past that, and it's just like us as friends watching one another's videos, we are just like on each other's dicks. Like it's burst linking all fucking day.
It's true.
Like half of the PCP chat, if any of us actually makes a video, the PCP chat is just all of us talking about how fucking great the other person's video
That's
is.
true.
Particularly if it's you, Hippo, or Jesse.
Yeah.
We all kind of, you know, those are the ones that we're all like particularly invested in. Nobody cares about me and Mumkey's videos because we post so much that nobody can possibly give a shit.
That's the thing. That's the only thing.
Like, I don't blame anyone. Neither does Mumkey. It's like, no, we post like 4 videos a day. I can't expect anybody to care.
Currently, one of my favorite videos in the world is Mumkey's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual Destiny playthrough.
Oh, you watch that shit?
Every morning when I wake up, on my way to work, I listen to that shit and I fucking love it. It's so good. Mumkey, do that forever. It's my favorite.
I prefer the Spyro playthrough.
That's done though, right? Or is that still going?
No, he started at the second game, but he's only done one.
I think he said I was supposed to be the first guest. That motherfucker hasn't invited me on.
Me
Piece
neither.
of shit.
I still haven't been on. He did one with Sheep over, and that's the only one
I did see that. Fuck it, Spyro. Yu-Gi-Oh forever. That's what I want.
I can't do the Yu-Gi-Oh ones because I won't watch it. Like, because
I kind of watch it a little bit.
With me, my way of watching Mumkey was that for a really long time I was always getting a sandwich like for lunch, like at Wawa
Subway sandwich.
Or Subway.
You getting the deluxe secret?
Usually Wawa, but like I'd go get a sandwich and I'd come back and like it takes me exactly like 18 to 20 minutes to eat a sandwich. So I'd always watch like the latest Pokemon Nuzlocke video. But then I got sick of the Nuzlocks because it's the same fucking shit every single time.
Mumkey, you got boring with those, but he fixed it by making Yu-Gi-Oh videos.
I like the Spyro.
Ben, finish your fucking Nuzlocke, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I'm literally the biggest fan, and fuck
You're the only one, I think, who watches all of Ben's Nuzlocks.
I love those fucking Nuzlocks.
They're really well made. I just don't have time.
I got nothing but time, dude. When I'm at work, when I'm at work, I just have a lot of, because I'm working on code, I have a lot of time to listen to podcasts and just veg out and you know, do my work. So it's perfect. It's great for consuming YouTube stuff.
Right. All right. Well, to get us back to our chronological timeline.
Right.
Get us into your college years.
Okay, so
what did you study?
I went to the College of New Jersey, originally as like an open options science major, because I wasn't good enough to be on like the pre-med track. So I was like, and I might have just not been decided, but I was not that great a student. I was like a B kid. I was like a B kid, and I'll jack myself off and say it's because I was like bored and didn't give a shit. Right. Maybe I was just dumb. Who the fuck knows? So I go to college, looking into science stuff in general. It takes me like a year or two to decide, and so I wasted all that time. Took a bunch of classes I didn't need, which is why I took so long to get my fucking degree.
Yeah, you took like 6 years to get your degree.
It took me 8.5 years.
8.5 to get
total.
a bachelor's.
That's correct. But that's
a lot. That's literally double the time it's supposed to take.
It is a long time, but in my defense, like it's not like I was taking full classes. Like I was working full time at various, you know, jobs while I was finishing up like one class per semester after I left full-time schooling. And like I made money overall, but like there was a life cost. Like that was like the worst time in my life doing that shit. So
you you lost all your souls. Or what's a good metaphor here? What's a good video gamey metaphor for the draining effect this had?
It was like
you were cursed. You were gaining lots of souls, but you had a curse on you.
That's true, and it would just get my HP bar would be get lower. Like before they patched Dark Souls 1, it just kept getting lower back in those days. And I would walk up to I'd be in the catacombs, when there's the basilisk there. I would see my soul pile there, and I'd be like, I'm gonna get to it this time to reclaim all my souls, and then I would die, and all my souls be gone, no way to recover them.
And your HP's cut in half.
And my HP keeps getting cut in half. Yeah. That was fucking brutal. That was sick though. I like that. In any case, so eventually I settled on computer science.
Did you play Dark Souls early enough to have the original version of the fire fucking lava place? What's it called?
Izalith?
Lost Izalith.
Actually, my friend got into Demon Souls right when it came out.
Yeah.
But all of us played it, and all of us were like, this is shit. This game fucking sucks.
Oh, yeah?
The version I'm playing right now was bought, like the year that it came out. And, none of my friends appreciated it at the time. We all thought it was garbage and didn't get it at all. And it was well after Dark Souls 1 was out. Like, the hype had started to build.
So you probably didn't play original Lost
Izalith. Probably not. Why? What was different about it?
Well, when the game shipped, Lost Izalith, which is the shittiest level in the game, but originally...
Everyone says that. I think it's okay. I don't know. The demon legs are shitty, and
originally
sucks.
Those all had like a giant aggro range, so like the whole way through Lost Izalith was just constantly fighting those like one after another in packs.
Those do suck ass.
And then they patched it and just made it so they have no aggro range. So now Lost Izalith is you just run through.
I remember playing that, and I remember them all getting aggroed. So I think I did play the original version.
I literally fought none of them.
I fought all. Yeah, like they would all run at us.
If you fought them all, then you played the original.
We fought them, and the way that we beat them was because I played this with my friends back in college. Like they would all like attack us, but they would hit each other, and they would just kill each other, and that's how we managed to get through.
Yeah, that's probably what they intended, but it was just like it didn't work well enough, and it was too hard, and they
Not a great level.
No, it's definitely the worst level of the game.
You think they'll ever like remake it? Because like they've said, like we just didn't finish it. We just didn't have time. Whatever. Who cares?
Anyway, so you're losing all your souls going through college,
right? But before that, my 4 years in college were pretty good. So around latter half of like sophomore year. I get into like games development with my buddy Rich and my buddies John and Mike and Femi and Mike. I don't talk to so much.
You had a Rich and a Mike, and you almost had a J. You had John, but you're close.
Why
you
was
almost had Red Letter Media, like you had almost all of them.
That's true. It was close. And I was friends with. Let me see. I didn't know any of them at first. But one fateful day at Anime Club, we were... I don't know why they were there. Like, none of these guys were as big anime buffs as... Okay, so it was me, and I'm just describing this because I want to jack off myself about my friends Rich and, Rich, Femi, and John. So one day at Anime Club, John and Rich, I believe, happened to be there, and we just met, and we talked, and we became friends. We went back to their place, played Smash Brothers, became friends. It was great. I believe it was the next year... We were at my townhouse where I lived, and I would live there with John. And down at the end of the hall was this guy, Femi, this little Chinese kid in his own place, in his own room. And I don't remember how, but I believe it was a discussion about Melty Blood was going on, and he overheard. His ears perked up when he heard Melty Blood, and was like,
not something you hear a lot about.
Yeah,
if you hear about Melty Blood and you know what it, I mean, I've like played literally one match of Melty Blood at NecoCon before.
Yeah,
I don't even know what the characters are in the game. I just know they're all Type Moon characters.
Yeah, Tsukihime, you got Earth or whatever her name is.
My point is that I don't even like Type Moon.
Yeah,
I don't like highly technical fighters. And still, if people were talking about Melty Blood near me, I'd be like, whoa, are you guys talking about Melty Blood?
It's a certain type of person who would talk about Melty Blood that you know that they're in your wheelhouse. So we like...
To clarify for our audience, Melty Blood is like a...
Type Moon fighting game.
Yeah, but it's like a doujin game, right? Like, it was sold at, like... I don't think it was ever professionally released. It's like a comic.
Is that true? I didn't know that. I mean, I played it a little bit, just like fighting with some of these guys.
That game's old as shit. Yeah, and it's from the people who later went on to make Under Night In-Birth and Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax, and like they became like a major fighting game developer. But like, it was like a borderline fan game, I think.
Yeah.
that they just kind of made, and with all the Type Moon characters from like back before. I mean, I guess Fate Stay Night was popular at the time, but they were not the gigantic fucking thing that they are now. You know?
That's true.
It was definitely obscure. It was the kind of thing that if you knew about Melty Blood, you had to be like a deep level otaku.
That's right.
Guy,
so that's when I believe Femi, or it might have been something else, and that came up another time. But there was something that tipped off Femi. They're like, oh, fellow people interested in this shit, and he joined our circle of companions, and we all became fast friends all through the end of college. So meanwhile, during this time, like me and my buddy Rich, we decided to make a video game to enter this contest. So at this point, like, we were doing like video game development. There was this new major at the school, interactive multimedia, that we were like, this is like the game design one. Let's get into it. And eventually I would like get away from that. But at the time I was into that. I was doing a double major of that and computer science. Just because like Rich was a very practical guy and was like, you should, interactive multimedia is cool and all, but you should still do some computer science. It's like, you can be like an idea guy with the IMM shit, but like, you're going to want an actual job. So get the computer science degree. And that's exactly what has paid off in my life. But in any case, so we decided to make a game, and we entered this. It was like a GameStop funded, like, full ride to this thing called Full Sail University, which is like a game design school in Florida, I want to say, so somewhere around. And we were competing to win it, and we finished it took us a full year working on this game, but we did finish it. And incidentally, you can play it if you go to my Twitch. It's like twitch.com/definitelybestguyever. There's like videos of us playing it. Oh, you know what? It's on Beastie Boy as well. I think. Yeah. Go to like
full playthroughs on Beastie Boy.
Find it on Beastie Boy. And there's like links to it if you want to play it. It's this RPG Maker. We made it like RPG Maker XL or whatever, like the fancier one was. Where it's like a mystery puzzle game basically with a couple little bits of action in it, and it's really fun.
I'd call it an adventure puzzle game,
adventure puzzle, sure.
If you've played like Ib or something, it's along those lines. You know Ib?
Not a fan, no. Oh. We were inspired a lot by Firefly, not Firefly. What's the Jonathan Blow game that was super famous? Braid. We were heavily inspired by Braid. And Rich was really the one who like had the idea for what the game was going to be. I was mostly the puzzle designer. I couldn't program for shit. I'm still not a great programmer, even though it's my job that I do every day. He was the one in charge of doing all what I consider the hard stuff, and I designed puzzles. So I was the idea guy where that shit's concerned. In any case, we finished it. We didn't win, but we loved making it. And Rich decided to go off to another school that he finished, and he got like it's the one that has like an affiliate with Nintendo up in Washington State.
Oh my god, your friend works for Nintendo?
He doesn't actually work for Nintendo, but I visited him in Seattle a while ago. Like, many of his friends work for Nintendo, and like Reggie works in that town and lives there. Right. Like that's Nintendo Central in America.
Does he see Reggie out like eating bagels at breakfast and be like, "Yo, Reggie, what up, dog?
Is your body ready for breakfast, Reggie?" No, but like there was a friend of his, this girl. His name.
Wait, is he the one who originated "My Body Is Ready"? Or did
that was Reggie. He was like getting ready to do Wii exercise or like Wii Fit. He just said like, "Are you ready? My body is ready." That was him.
Wow.
Yeah, that's an old school one.
I didn't know that's where it came from.
Yep, it's all Reggie.
That's one of my favorite memes. I say it all the time.
Really?
My body. I usually say "My body is lady," which is a compound meme.
Right.
From Idolmaster. You know this one.
Yep, I've seen that one.
It's for the audience. It's the Idolmaster opening song. They say, "Are you ready? I'm ready," which is literally, "Are you ready? I'm lady." so to me, it's
dumbasses.
My body is lady. That's how I say it.
Okay, well in any case, so yeah, as you can tell, I had an interest in games design in a big way. I was in like the game design club that my friend Andy started. Magic Circle is what we called it. That was cool. I had like a little team. We actually developed this phone game. We did this thing called a game jam, which is like a 48-hour game development thing. Crunch, yeah. I had this idea.
Binding of Isaac started as a game jam.
Yeah.
As we learned from Florian.
Shout out to you, dog. There was a. What was I saying? Oh, there was a game jam, and I came up with this idea for a game called Monochrome, which is it's like. What's it like? It's a bit like Bejeweled, okay? But the idea is, so you've got a field full of multicolored gems, and if you look at like a color wheel, you know how there's like, it goes from like purple leads to red, leads to orange, leads to yellow, leads to green, to blue, back to purple, in like a circle like that. So the idea behind this game was that you would click on something like purple, and if there was either one like next to that color on the color wheel, either red or blue, if you clicked from like purple to one of those, it would like consume that color. So like the idea was it was a puzzle game where you would kind of eventually spread your color to, it didn't matter what color, but you could like end the game with all the blocks as one color was the basic idea of it. And we actually developed a functional phone app of this game. That I don't have anymore. I think it got deleted. But it's on my like drive somewhere, so I could install it again. It's pretty fun. We never finished it. We wanted to make it like a full release, but I guess as many aspiring game devs did, it never got out the fucking door. But in any case,
cool concept though.
Yeah, I really liked it. It was really good, and it was actually pretty damn fun. Don't steal that, audience. I'm gonna make that. It's my idea. So, okay. So I was big into game design. Incidentally, my theater stuff didn't work out from high school,
right?
Because my grades weren't good enough, and my dad forbid me to do any more theater because he was like, "You're spending too much time on theater." Even though the real problem was that I was fucking around and like not doing my homework and just didn't give a shit. I was just a very lazy guy. Just didn't give a shit about what I was doing. I mean, that's school for you, right?
Right. Well, that's school for you, taking you away from the thing that you're actually passionate about because it's supposedly distracting you from the bullshit that will never matter in your life.
Yep.
Like, hey, which set of skills do you think is benefiting you on Patreon right now? The theater skills or the fucking whatever bullshit you had to do in high school skills? Yeah.
Fair question.
I think it was the theater skills.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a showman.
What do you think? You think you've got all those patrons from fucking knowing how to like history of English or some shit? No.
Yeah.
You got it because you gave an impassioned speech about the human bullshit while wearing a Picard outfit. You're literally in costume in that video.
Yep, it was great. That Picard costume was a good investment. Or it's not. It's a standard issue uniform captain uniform. Yeah. So
incidentally,
there you go.
Tight fit on me.
Yeah.
It's a
little bit of a tight fit on me, to be honest, too.
Yeah, but it's good that it's a tight fit on you.
I guess that's true.
Because it makes your chest look fucking huge.
That's true, it does.
On me, it makes my tits look fucking huge. My nipples were literally poking through that.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Okay, so in any case, so theater was out, and I was just doing like game design stuff. I guess my grades were okay. I was never a great student. Really, at any point in my life, other than when I was like a little kid, and I could just coast by like being kind of smart.
Same.
And yeah, that's just how it worked out. And never had any drive to do any of that shit. But in any case, like another thing that happened to me in college that was a big deal is that I finally got a girlfriend. And this was a revolution. It was kind of a formative experience in my life. Changed me. Actually, getting the girlfriend didn't change me at all. I was totally the same guy up to that point. I was still this, like, shy, Vampire Hunter D loving,
Did you still have
cool
long
kid.
hair?
I at that point, I never had hair that long again down to my waist, but I had it down to, like, shoulder length.
Right.
I've got kind of wavy hair, so it was kind of, like, curled around, which is like, whoosh, I don't know. And this girl inexplicably was into me because I was the biggest fucking pussy. I let this girl walk all over me. Like, not to shit on her. She was fine. But I was not a man. I did not do the things a man needs to do, as in assert yourself in any way.
Yeah.
Like, I have a tendency to kowtow to people and try to please people, and, like, nobody wants that in a relationship. It's fucking shit. So, the relationship was mutually unsatisfying and went on for, like, a year and a half until she dumped me, rightly so. She, however, did not sex me. And that is a big problem.
You dated for a year and a half and didn't fuck.
Yeah, well, she gave me a couple handies, so that was nice, but that's not.
She's willing to give you a hand job. Why not?
Because she was a big weirdo Christian.
Oh, okay.
And that there were two things, and this is cool. There were two things that I stood up to her on. One, I would constantly laugh at her when she talked about her Christianity, which I fucking love. That's great. and the other one was she worked as hard as she worked that little white ass as hard as she could to make me admit that Eris was the better girl for Cloud, and I never gave in. It's Tifa for life, you stupid whore bitch. Never giving you that. You will never get the satisfaction. Eris is fucking dead. Tifa was Cloud's destined girl from the start. You idiot. So on those two fronts, I retained my manhood. And everything else, I was a big pussy bitch. She's no, I really don't blame her at all.
You really stood for yourself on the issues that matter.
I know. I mean, the whole girlfriend thing was actually it was a big deal for me. So, you know, this was me desperate, and I can admit this. I didn't give a fuck about this girl. You know, I just wanted to have sex desperately. It was a huge deal in my life, and never happened, and I was extremely upset when the relationship ended, and I'm like, I just dated this girl for like a year and a half, and I know this kind of sounds like a psycho, but it's what I was honestly thinking.
It if you're a fucking 23-year-old virgin. And,
yeah.
It's like, how old were you, 20?
I was, no, I was like 20, I was like, dated her from like 19 to 20, that range, more or less. Yeah, it was real fucking bad. But in any case, so eventually, between junior and senior year, a grand opportunity arose for me to travel abroad. Because, actually, one of the main reasons I chose to go to the College of New Jersey is because they had a motherfucking Japanese language program. And that was, like, #1 on my list. Needed that shit. And it was by far the best thing about that school. I fucking loved taking Japanese there. Reading those fucking Genki books, practicing vocab. God, I want to do more desperately, but so I gotta buy some Genki books like immediately.
We gotta talk about that later too.
Yeah,
because me and you are planning a possible thing, and my new girlfriend also wants to learn Japanese.
Dude,
and
don't bring your fucking girlfriend into this
I'm not
shit.
gonna bring her into our thing.
Okay.
I'm just saying that I'm very quickly becoming surrounded by people who want to learn Japanese as badly as I do.
Right.
And this is the perfect time. Like, I need to learn this language. I'm going to kill myself if I don't learn Japanese by the time I'm 30. Like, if I'm not fluent by the time I'm 30, I will fucking kill myself.
That's a high bar. Go for conversational, like high-level conversational.
No. I got to be fluent by the time I'm 30.
You don't have that much time to get fluent, dude. It takes a long time to get fluent.
5 years is plenty of... we're
start now.
We're not fucking beginners at Japanese.
Well, that's true.
We both took 3 years, you know?
I took 4 years.
I took 3.
I win. And
I've been watching anime for 15 years.
I would bet your Japanese is better than mine, because I have been completely not practicing
likely.
at all. But so in any case, so I was taking Japanese, fucking loving it. Ogren Sensei and Yamashina Sensei, thank you for being there for me. I appreciate what you did. Because I'm sure they're listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
But in any case, I was also a Japanese language teacher. Oh, but that was after I came back from the thing I'm trying to get to. I traveled to fucking Japan, and I spent 2 months, a whole summer, in Tokyo, living the fucking good life. And it was, by far, the best single decision I've made in my life. Except maybe deciding to start doing YouTube. And it was... I mean, it wasn't like a fucking magical experience. It was just one of those things where, like, so many opportunities opened up to me when I, like, took the initiative to get this thing done. Which is why, you know, people say yes to opportunities that come before you, people. So I went there, I went to Japan, and I was at this place called I believe it was the KCP International School, or something like that. You can Google it, because they take international students, and they, they teach them shit. They've got a lot of, like, Koreans, and, probably, like, some Filipinos. It's, like, the school is mostly full of Europeans, and, like, a bunch of, like, a couple Brits, and some Americans, all a bunch of big weebs, mostly Koreans, though. But in any case, they teach them Japanese, as good as they can. And they have a bunch of levels. I was in, like, the middle level one. I was actually in one that was a little bit too high for my actual language control ability. So I was a little bit, like, not able to keep up with things that were happening, which was a little bit shitty. But it's because I've always had this pride. When I was in school, like, I was the only kid in the entire school who took every single AP class that was available. And it's because I would have felt angry at myself for not taking the most difficult challenge possible. Like, I would have felt dumb. And our valedictorian, she didn't take every fucking AP class. Only me and my friend Doug did. And it's because I think we have this, like, weird... Maybe his parents pressured him, but for me it was like, no. I've got this weird, I don't know, self-critical ego thing going on where, like, I need to challenge myself, like, the hardest thing as possible. I don't feel it anymore. But so I did that. And so, when I was in Japan, I chose to take, like, this level that was definitely a little bit too hard to be 100% useful for me. Yeah. Like, you need to be at a level where you can actually keep up.
My biggest problem in Japanese class is that I got a D all 3 years.
Yeah.
Each year I had no idea what fuck was going. I never knew what was happening.
Oh,
like,
that sucks.
I spent my whole time in 3 years of Japanese like a deer in the headlights. They shouldn't have passed me.
I was constantly trying to play catch up. Like, yeah, things would blow by me and I would have to catch up. That was That was tough.
Like, I mean, when in my third year, we had this Russian guy of Shinnikov Sensei, who, like, he'd studied in Russia, then he'd taught, like, I think he'd taught either English or Russian in Japan.
Yeah.
Then had taught in America a little bit, like, at a nicer school, then came to my school, which is dog shit, you know? And, like, he gets there, and, like, all of us are so far below the level we're supposed to be at for and, like, and so varying. Like, the top students in class knew everything, and the bottom students in class, like me, knew jack shit. And so he, like, the whole time he was just, like, exploding with stress. Like,
I feel for the guy. That's tough.
This dude was, like, man, he couldn't deal. Like, it was, like, 3 layers of culture shock.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like, he'd been used to teaching at Japanese schools where kids are, like, super diligent.
Right.
And he comes here.
What the fuck is with American schools? We are a bunch of fuck-ups.
Why do we even have them?
I don't know. Because it's possible just to make us feel good about ourselves. You know, like, pretend like we're doing something useful. Yeah. There is a certain service being served by...
go listen to PCP Schools.
Yeah, go listen to that one.
PCP Fuck School, I think is the title of it.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, so in any case, so I went to Japan, right? And it was fantastic. The best thing about going there, though, was not that... I kind of learned how to, like, be independent a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, college is kind of cushiony, but, like, I lived just in, like, an apartment by myself in Tokyo for 2 months and had to, like, figure shit out, like, how to survive. But more importantly than that, I hooked up with this dude, Garth. And I think I've told this story a couple times before, but, like, me and this buddy, Garth, he had yellow fever. It was ridiculous. He wanted to get laid like a motherfucker. That we both got...
You described it once as the worst yellow fever you've ever seen.
The worst case of yellow fever I've ever encountered, without a doubt. Like, he was into deep level, like, geisha shit. Like, that's what he wanted. That's his, like, ideal woman, from his own mouth.
Deep level geisha shit.
That's... Yeah, man. So he would... so we would bomb down to Roppongi at, like, late night. Like, even on weeknights, we would just go to Roppongi, get absolutely sloshed. By the way, people don't know this, the best thing about Japan is that you can drink alcohol outside anywhere you want, at any time. It's wonderful.
Beautiful.
It's really not to be underestimated how great and liberating that is.
That's all I'm going to do when I go to Japan.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's probably because they, like, trust their citizens to not fuck up and, like, be reasonable. But it's funny because it draws a lot of tourists and, like, foreigners who are not reasonable. Yeah. And, like, me and him would just be, like, puking in the streets sometimes and... Just being irresponsible in the club and, like...
How old are you at this time?
Let's see. When I was in Japan, I turned 21. So it was, like, right at that time. And by the way, the drinking age in Japan, I believe, is 18?
It's 20.
Okay, yeah, 20, yeah. So I was able to drink. I turned 21 when I was in Japan. Okay. So a little bit anticlimactic, but yeah, it was still a great time. I met some interesting characters, like this guy named Nash, who was, like, a competitive MMA fighter who was, like, training at various dojos across Asia and was... like, friends with some of the students at the school I was going to, or some of the teachers who would, like, help him buy plane tickets places.
Can I have a slice of your apple pie?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
Thank you.
Let's see, what else is going on? So, really, like, the main idea that I want to talk about here is, like, my life changed dramatically because I developed a fixation with actually going out, like, no longer being a pussy. Like, this was the time in my life I got really into, like, pickup artist shit. And I started obsessively consuming everything I could find, specifically while I was in Japan. I downloaded tons of, like, videos and all that kind of shit. And, like, a lot of the philosophy has stuck with me to this day, though I don't know, like, the specifics have kind of faded. But I always want to defend it when I talk about it, that pickup artist shit is, like, it's about self-improvement more than anything else. Right. So, like, what I have gotten from, like, these guys like Tyler Durden, that's the guy, Tyler Sensei. He is, I mean, I call him Tyler Sensei, but, like, it's not like he's known by that. It's just, like, I found out about this guy when I was in Japan, so I started calling him Tyler Sensei, even though he just goes by Tyler in America. But in any case, like, these guys are all about, like, you become a better man so that you can attract better women, and, like, it's not like you're tricking anyone. It's like you are a better person, and the women that are into you because of that are just being given, like, more of a product. I think what people are averse to is, like, people are really into, like, destiny and like, they feel like I'm born this way. Fucking with that order is wrong. It's not good to improve your station.
It is.
Yeah, it's disgusting. No, we are clay dolls that we mold through our own power to a certain degree, you know? We have a certain level of influence over our own bodies. If free will exists, which I don't actually believe, but we'll put that aside for now. But the point is, Like, this is when what this boils down to is, like, I now decided, you know what? I should actually do something because I want women in my life, and I should actually, like, work on that. Like, so nobody, I think, in their right mind would ever find a problem with that. So that's what we did. We went down to Roppongi, and our choice was to get super drunk. That's our solution. And we would go into clubs. We would grind up on hot Japanese women who were looking for sexy American men. And we kind of grew up, you know. We became grown-up guys a little bit more. I did not get laid during my time in Japan, which was a big bummer for me. But Gareth did, though. Gareth, and as I was saying, like, he's really into Japanese chicks. Devastatingly, he banged a Vietnamese chick. And he regrets it intensely to this day that when he was in Japan, still yellow, you know, on the spectrum, getting close to what he wants. I'm sure by now, the color spectrum is what I'm talking about. I'm sure by now he's banged quite a few Japanese ladies, if his yellow fever persists, because who knows? He was actually Indian, so I don't know if that is relevant, but like he had yellow fever despite being Indian. But whatever. But the funny thing was, so after I came back from this wonderful time, oh, by the way, I met Moot when I was in Japan.
Oh,
when I was on 4chan just one day, and I saw, like, and a bunch of the guys who were there, you know, a lot of the white guys who were there were a bunch of, like, big weebs like me. And, like, I saw a post one day that was it was the banner on 4chan. It's like, hey, I'm Moot. It was like a sticky on every board. I'm going to be in Akihabara at this time. Be there if you want to hang out. And I was like, I'm going to be there. So me and a couple of the guys, we went down there, and we hung out with Moot for a while. And we went to eat. We met his crew.
What did he seem like?
He was like a skinny, I don't know.
I imagine he's like just a like nerdy programmer guy.
That's really the impression for the most part that I got. He didn't have any kind of like bombastic personality or anything. He was pretty chill.
Yeah. And
we talked, and if you look around online, there's some, I don't know if you search around, there are some famous pictures. If you search like Moot in Akihabara, there are pictures of me with him. And there's one of like all his crew like want us to take a big like group photo. So we all lined up in a row. And he took a big picture of all of us. And what was funny to me is that even years later, I see that photo reposted on like 4chan now and then, and I'm right there wearing like a Soga King from One Piece shirt that I bought at Uniqlo when I was there. And people label like every person in that group as like a different board. Like Mood was B. You know, like there was a girl, like a pregnant girl, like with a baby who was like CGL. And just like a bunch of them.
Which one's CGL?
CGL, the cosplay.
Oh.
Like the slut one, the slut girl one.
Right.
Of course, so it fits. And I was consistently labeled as as the comics board.
Even though you're wearing a One Piece
Even
shirt.
though I was wearing, inexplicably. I think it's because I had a shit-eating grin and looked confident. And I was already getting fit at this point, so my muscle definition was improving, which isn't an A thing.
Why would that be a Co thing?
Because it's not an A thing. It's not an A thing.
A is more fit than Co.
That's bullshit, and you know it, dude.
Comics and cartoons.
Co has some normies. Co
autism.
has a decent normie population, so those people even out the fitness curve. The A's are a bunch of fucking fat weirdos.
Why weren't you just fit? Was somebody else fit?
I don't know if there was a fit on this whole thing. There might just not have been a fit. Okay, but the point I'm trying to get to, I just thought that's a cool thing that happened to me while I was there. When I got back, like a month after I got back to school, I immediately got laid. And it was just like, I did the grind, I put in the work, did my training, and all of it paid off when, like, I completely changed as a person when I got back. I was a way more, like, outgoing, willing to just do crazy shit, you know, kind of, like, the guy I am now on the PCP is, like, post-Japan Nate. The guy from before Japan was a completely different guy. Big pussy, sucked a lot of dick. Yeah. Mostly his own. Not a fun guy.
I imagine, I
Big nerd.
I think pretty much all of us on the PCP have some kind of turning point like that.
Yeah.
Like
for you it was when you realized you were gay. That was a big day for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I think all of us, well, I don't know. I don't know if I can speak for the younger guys, if they've quite had like a definitive, like, I don't know how different Hippo is from how he used to be, you know?
Yeah.
I'd have to ask him, but like for me it would be pre and post BronyCon 2013.
Was that the first one you went to?
Yeah.
Yeah. So with Tom, yeah.
Because like like there's lots of moments in my life that like things change. Like me going to the Philippines would almost be comparable to you going to Japan, except that it didn't change much about my life back in America.
Right.
It was really going to BronyCon and like having a moment of like thinking of myself as famous,
right,
or something, like, or like being a personality in public and like having to respond to all these people, like completely changed the way I think about interacting with random strangers.
Sure,
you know,
sure.
Like it's just, you have this moment where all these people know who you are, who you don't know, and like all they expect of you is to be cool. And so, like, I'm there, and I'm like, I have to be cool for these people, you know? Like, I can't be some boring nerd for all these people who are coming up to me. I have to be, like, this larger-than-life figure who they're expecting. And so that's, like, what I became in my real life. It's like,
yeah, you're
I just
doing all right.
transformed into, like, a guy who thinks of himself as someone with fans, you know?
You know, I remember you talking about, there was a phase in your life that I remember, I think I was just a fan of yours at the time.
Yeah.
And it was when you were doing, like, a big purge of all your contacts, and you're like, I know too many people right now.
Yeah.
That seemed relevant.
That was not too long after that BronyCon. That's just because I literally accepted everybody who sent me a fucking Skype request, and that's a huge mistake, and nobody should ever do that.
Yeah. I still get messages on Discord just from people, usually from the fan chat, because, like, I'm in there, and it's easy to. I got no problem with that, but I just ignore them for the most part.
Right.
And let me see, was there anything else relevant
I had,
about that?
400 Skype contacts at the time. That's why I had to get rid of them.
I'm merely going to talk about this because it is important context into who I am, and this is like the podcast about the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
So, like, this getting laid thing was, like, I don't know. I feel like there's a tendency to, like, diminish
the
value
matters.
of sex. It
totally does matter
thing.
Because it's just that you can't, like, even if it's not good, even if like even if what you take away from it is, oh, I don't even care about sex,
right?
You have to know.
You have become, like, you have changed, and you now have something socially that gives you an aura of confidence.
Yeah.
Like, you're now part of the club, you know? You're no longer an excluded, loser.
And I mean, even if you only...
Not that anyone who hasn't had sex is a loser, you know? It's fine.
I mean, like, I had my ex-girlfriend, and I had sex with her plenty of times. I understand what it is, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think I'm good at it, and it's fun. But, like, after that, I spent the last 3 years not getting laid, you know, until, like, last week. And, like, it didn't get any easier to make it happen again, but it's just, like, knowing that I have and can.
It's a world of difference.
Yeah.
Post-virginity loss to... Pre-virginity loss to post... It is different.
It's a difference between thinking, will I ever have sex?
Exactly.
And I know I can. I've done it before. You know, I just have to put in more effort. Like, the last 3 years, I felt like I could have sex anytime I want. I just got to put in effort, and I'm not willing.
Many of my friends are still virgins to this day, and they're 26, 27, just like me. And I don't know, man. It could have been me. If I didn't go to Japan, it would be me. It would be me. Yeah. It was...
And I don't think I would have...
These guys are my brothers. I love them to death, you know? Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just wish they would...
Incidentally, because you're saying 1 month after that's when you got laid.
Yeah.
It's exact same for me with BronyCon 2013.
Oh, really?
Because the girl who was my first girlfriend, like, literally, like, BronyCon had been, like, 1 week before, and I'd just gotten back, and it was, like, my birthday... area, like
you
the
were
day after my
complaining about
birthday.
it on the cast.
Yeah,
the podcast,
and I was just talking about it on the pub crawl, and this girl starts messaging me in the chat, and that's how we hooked up. And like a month later, there's definitely something to this effect of like just doing something that's so, like, something that it's not that it's out of character. It's out of character for who you are, but it's in character for who you think you should be.
Well, you know, like back in the day, I also heard it described. It's like the whole thing about like the self-improvement stuff that I got from a lot of the they're like more like life coaches. These kind of this pickup stuff, but it was like it's you at 100. Like you're not. It's not like you can't even be someone else if you try. You're always going to be yourself, even though you can act fake or whatever. But like if you're just going out there and you're just I really resent this notion that people like trying to change themselves are being fake. I reject that wholeheartedly.
I do as well.
That stagnates people so hard, and I hate it. And it happens to a lot of like nerdy guys. Like they fall for that trap hard. I did. I certainly did.
Yeah.
But
don't
fall into that paradigm,
idiot.
guys.
Make yourself better.
Exactly.
Like, not just to get laid, but like for every reason.
Consider your entire life an engineering problem, and if there are deficits that you need to improve, work on it.
If there's literally anything you're not happy with, then what the fuck are you doing? You know, like, fix that.
That's right.
Like, yeah,
that's how it should be.
If something's broke, you fix it. That's
right.
like, you know, are you gonna be the guy who, I don't know, you watch any Casey Neistat at all?
Yeah, I've seen a lot.
Yeah, like what's great about Casey is he's got this sort of workshop that he works in.
Workshop
and
is
like,
great.
If anything is not exactly what he wants, he fixes it. He'll get a tool and just make it. He always says, like, there's two kinds of people in this world: people who can build something and people who can't. You know, or people who can use their hands or whatever. Like,
sure.
You know, if he needs something to be a certain way, he immediately makes it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how everyone needs to get into that fucking mindset. If something's broken, look around you right now, look around your room, audience. If something is broken and you've been meaning to fix it, fix the fucking thing.
You know what's funny about
Fix it now.
That's entirely true. That is the best way to live.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I cannot necessarily adhere to that as often as I'd like to. Like, this thing about, like, getting a new bed, that's been, like, an issue for, like, a year. I've wanted a new bed. It's only because there was something that happened that was, like, a motivating factor. Like, you know, I could use a second bed for, like, a guest.
Right.
That's what really got me to do it. But, like, then there's other things, like, nobody asked me to make me a Mathiva. Nobody was like, hey, why don't you, you know, whatever.
You recognized a systematic problem with your content and decided that it needed a solution.
That's
it had
exactly
to be
right.
fixed.
That's exactly right.
And I mean, it's not always easy to identify what's broken.
Right.
But there is kind of a, like, for me, a lot of the time, if I'm not sure why I'm not happy, I'll just go and make a bunch of different shit until I figure out what am I missing. You know,
Sure.
like, I mean, this trip I'm on right now, that's kind of what inspired, like, I didn't know what the result of this would be. I'm just like, hey, I'm going to leave the house because I've tried everything here and none of that's working. So the solution must be out there. So let's just go out there and drive around aimlessly until something changes. And something did change almost immediately upon leaving my house. Like, it's obvious that this is what should have happened. It's like, yeah, you should have left, like, months ago.
And
you know?
That's why I so value and think it's a great idea to shake up your life in a big way.
Absolutely.
At the very least, like, things like traveling long distances, people, it's so easy to be like, I don't know, like, if you dreamt of, like, going to Paris or whatever, it's like, I mean, what am I really going to oh, the fucking Eiffel Tower, I've fucking seen that in a million pictures. Actually putting in the shit to go to Paris is just, it's going to be worth it. Probably.
I mean, it's just worth the experience of figuring out how the fuck to get to Paris. And, like, I mean, to me, like, a lot of people hate travel. I love travel just because, like, even when it sucks, it's interesting. Because it's just something new. Like, I'm the type of guy...
You're collecting stories and life experience at a minimum that you won't get if you're sitting in your ass in
I'm the type of guy who will sit around, like, and just walk around the airport. Like, let's say I have a 2-hour layover.
Yeah.
You can compare different airports. It's interesting shit. I live in Norfolk. Tiny airport, nothing there.
Right.
Then you go to New York, and you're in this giant fucking LaGuardia, and there's, like, these huge food courts and all this crazy shit, and you, hey, everything costs twice as much in New York, because the taxes are so much higher.
Yeah.
And, like, just learning shit, you know? Like, you literally can't go somewhere and not learn anything. Like, you will learn something because that place is not the place you were already in, and you will inherently pick up on something, even if you don't immediately recognize it. Even if it's just like a talking point. You can walk up to some girl at the bar and be like, hey, yeah, what's going on? I went to Boston yesterday. Oh, yeah, what was that like? Oh, cigarettes are like $12 there. It's fucked up, you know?
Yep.
Icebreaker. You have something to talk about. Something's different about you, you know?
You know, that's entirely true, but there is nothing harder on this earth than doing a cold approach to a girl. And I've done it many times. And every single time I felt like I was dying. Yeah, see, I went through the fire. I've faced my fear, and I haven't conquered it. It's still there. I still feel social anxiety. Like, if I want to talk to a girl, it's hard, man. It's hard shit. Every guy knows it is. It's a skill that you have to work at if that's the kind of guy you want to be, you know? I mean, you could take the route of becoming a YouTuber and getting 100,000 subscribers and waiting for a girl to say, like, hey, you're cute, let's go
literally
have sex.
The route that each of us is taking.
Yeah, that's
all
true.
The time.
It is very inefficient. If you can avoid it, there are faster ways.
It is hyper inefficient.
Yeah. If you can build a career out of it too, hey, great. 2 birds with 1 stone. Wouldn't recommend it though. Go improve yourselves and go harass women in the street. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't even know how like pickup culture. It's not called that anymore. Like honestly, they call it other shit.
With the whole picking up like girls through YouTube thing. Like, yeah. I think it would only even work for people like us who were destined to be YouTubers anyways.
Yeah.
Like the reason it works for us is that like
we're so personality driven.
Yeah, like the kind of stuff that we would use to pick up a girl is the same stuff we'd talk about in a YouTube video. Like it.
That's true.
You know,
I have literally seduced women. Excuse me. I have literally seduced women by talking about One Piece endlessly. Yeah. And they get entranced by the passion I show when I talk about how much I fucking love One Piece. That's literally happened. I have literally gotten laid off of that shit.
The kinds of women who would be into us are the kinds of women who are into just guys being passionate about something.
That's right.
You know,
I mean, passion is just an attractive thing inherently.
A wellspring of something I have.
Right.
Well, because it creates an association that if he can get that passionate,
that's right.
Maybe he can get that passionate about me.
Maybe he can get my nut.
Yeah. Oh God, you reminded me. I have to try that now.
Oh shit.
I totally forgot.
I'm glad I reminded you.
Oh boy.
Thank God.
I got a hot date in like 2 weeks.
Great.
I'm gonna get in there. Get that.
Tragically after National Sex Day. Next June 9th, everybody. Get out there and get yourself a date.
Oh, God.
It's also National Marriage Day.
If you see any tweets about me being, like, heartbroken, talking about how my girlfriend broke up with me, just know it was because... I can't avoid it.
Yes, it's got to be done. It's got to be done.
I'm so glad you reminded me.
So I was gonna say. So after I got laid the first time, which was a big deal for me, I then spent the rest of senior year pursuing like casual sexual relationship. Like I didn't really dwell on this that much, but my heart was absolutely broken and has not recovered. I do not trust I don't trust anyone. I do not trust anyone to do anything for me. I only trust myself. I will never have any confidence in anyone ever again. I expect them to betray me at a moment's notice, so I organize my life where when they betray me, not if, I will be able to survive, and it won't be a big deal. So that's me. But I was able to have good times with a bunch of nice ladies senior year. You know, I had a bunch of casual things going at once, was living the dream for a while with a couple ladies, and then senior year ended, and that was sad and all. None of it was like too tragic. It sucked to be away from my boys, but eventually I went back to Massachusetts, and from there I just spent my time doing like one class at a time, working terrible shitty jobs, because for years the College of New Jersey was useless at finding me a fucking internship where I could like work and make decent money with the skills I had developed. It took me 4 years, and like my dad's best friend since he was like in like elementary school happened to work for a software company and was like, hey, like we take interns all the time from like the University of Cincinnati. So I'm living like an hour south of Boston, where I grew up. And he's like, hey, want to move out to Cincinnati? You have to interview and shit, but you've got decent qualifications. You can finish your degree out here at like the University of Cincinnati and and work and have a fucking job and not be a poor piece of shit like you have been for the last 3-4 years or whatever. I was like, yes, please save me from this hell. And so I went and I lived out here in Cincinnati. And that's what I've been doing ever since. Finished my degree a couple months ago. Checked that box. And now my pay went up a bunch. And now I make a comfortable living. Live well below my means. And I'm spending all my money to pay off my student loans. So I'll be free. And so that's where I'm at right now, like financially. But during that 3 years, and this is where I wonder if maybe this was all a blessing in disguise, I heard of a little website called youporn.com. And I knew that's where my future lied. No, it was YouTube. So actually, it was funny. Ben, during this time, my older brother Ben, remember that guy? He had been doing a lot of crazy shit during that time. He went to Europe. He taught Polish. No, he taught English in Poland. Oh no, sorry. He taught physics in Poland because that's what he got his degree in. And he did a bunch of crazy stuff. And he eventually like lived in California, bumming around for a while.
Go listen to the Ben interview if you want the full story of Ben's
tell you all that shit.
Crazy ass post college.
Ben's done some really interesting stuff with his life, despite being a useless bum. But
it's generally because Ben does not care about having a safety net.
No, not at all.
You and him are kind of
opposites.
Diametrically opposed in this regard.
I wouldn't say, like, I'm very much like my dad in that respect. He is, like, and I've only become that way over the last couple years, like, since I moved out here and I've, like, been forced to become an adult. Yeah, like, now I really have my shit together in a big way, and Ben does not. And I wonder
But it doesn't even matter. Because he doesn't care.
He does not care.
It does not faze him that he doesn't have his shit together.
I guess he's more like my mom a little bit. I don't know. It's a mix. This whole thing about, like, oh, you're just like your mom, you're just like your dad, that's a meme anyway. But in any case, so during that time, Ben had been watching like a ton of shows. Like, he's always been a big consumer of media. And one show he watched was My Little Pony, that he was like, hey, Nate, check out this show. And I remember when he was in, I believe, Poland, he sent me, like, something, it might have been California, whatever. When he was far away, he sent me links to, like, the show. And I was like, I do not believe that My Little Pony is good. I believe that you are lying to me, that this is a fucking joke, that you're an idiot. And I just ignored him for a while. But eventually, like, on 4chan, people were talking about it. And I was just like, okay, maybe there is something to this thing after all. So I took Ben up on it. And the first episode I watched was Putting Your Hoof Down. And it was, like, the best episode of all time. I'll describe it to you.
Season 2, that's the Iron Will one, right?
As made famous by Keg Standard Reviews, Putting Your Hoof Down. That's right. And it's the greatest episode of anything ever. It's literally about, like, the kind of motivational speaker, sort of pickup artist guy that was, like, my hero. And it didn't even make him a villain. It just made him, like, an antagonist for the episode with, like, hey, you owe me money. But then Fluttershy, is like, fuck you, I didn't appreciate your service. All Fluttershy does is, like, learn from this guy, become, like, an alpha herself, and then he's like, yeah, okay, all right, I'm with you. So, like, he respects the code. He's not even a villain. He's a good guy. He is a good guy. Okay, I'm getting too deep into this thing. I fucking love that episode.
Go watch Keg Reviews.
Go watch Keg Standard Reviews. Putting Your Hoof Down on TBAP.
Yeah.
It's actually a great video that I love. I did a song for it. I had two or three songs. I did three songs.
That video is kind of the precursor to what would be Best Guy Ever. Like, it's the first example of you going way the fuck overboard for the production of a video.
Which would be continued in Phantom Reviews.
Way overboard.
Ben's fucking animations and, like, the song. Oh, man, that was a fucking crazy ride. Took us, like, 6 months to finish that video, I think.
Yeah.
Which would establish a pattern for me, which would be very destructive, but make some decent stuff. But in any case, so Ben convinced me to watch My Little Pony. I did, and I got into it. And I would watch it, like, at work when I was supposed to be working at this other shitty job, and I would just watch My Little Pony instead, and it was great. I remember I was watching it when the Boston Marathon bombing happened. I was watching some My Little Pony and was like, I don't give a fuck about them. I'm taking it with Rarity and the girls. This is way more important. And long story short, like, so we were goofing around, and then eventually Ben came home, and Ben suggested one day, like, yo, I've been watching this big faggot, like, Digibro, and, like, other guys, or Digibrony, and Brony Curious, and these other guys. And in fact, he showed me, the video that really made me, like, even interested in YouTube in general was, like, Horseshoe Reviews. Oh, God, what was it? It was the one...
So he knew Jesse even before he showed any of this to you.
Yeah, like, the first video that I saw of, like, YouTube... This was, like, my introduction to YouTube, was seeing Jesse's video... God, what the fuck was it? It's, like, Magic... It's the Season 3 opener, the Crystal Kingdom. Like, the Magic Crystal Kingdom one.
The Colt Corona.
The Colt Corona video, that's the one. Where he crawls out of that fucking, like... The Carousel Boutique thing.
This is before Horseshoe Reviews.
Yeah, you're right. Like... It wasn't even Horseshoe Reviews. It was when Jesse was doing his crazier shit before that. That video was fucking magical.
That video is incredible.
So great. Jesse, I love you, brother. You're a hero. So I realized that YouTube was a thing. We were both into My Little Pony. Ben was back home. He suggested, hey, let's do because every time an episode would come out, we've been doing this our whole life. We would be, like, up late watching anime together and would talk about it for hours. He's like, yo, we're doing this again with My Little Pony. Let's make a motherfucking podcast. So we did. So we made TBAP episode 1. And just like...
That's two best brothers bitch about ponies.
Yep. Don't tell Mom, though, because that's a swear.
Yeah.
Right. So we did it. And I believe our first episode was just a still image and shitty audio. And
shitty art.
And shitty art. It was kind of shitty.
The original designs are pretty shit.
I remember the Keg had this amazing, like, #1 finger that never got reused. What a tragic loss for that character. Could have had so much development with that #1 finger thing. But yeah, I had the Kanye shades and Ben and Phantom Horn. Oh, it was good times. But like, what's interesting about T-Bab, looking back at it now, is that was literally the first video I ever made, outside of like this one like video editing AMV I made like on a VHS tape back in high school that is totally irrelevant. I started learning YouTube at that moment, like editing and shit, and now here I sit like 3.5 years later, and I consider myself a pretty damn great edit boy.
Yeah.
And learned a lot of shit real fast. But like the way that T-Bap evolved quickly, even at that time, that was as fast as I could learn how to do new shit. And to give Ben credit too, he made new art. Yeah. We were grinding that shit. We were grinding that T-Bap wheel like hard as we could.
I'm sure I probably said this in Ben's interview too, but like both like the early T-Bap episodes were all submitted to me because I was running Equestria Daily's analysis thing at the time.
Right.
I'd been well established by this point. I'd been around for probably 8 months, and I was pretty famous.
Known for propagating heroes like Dr. Wolf, among other legendary internet figures. Right. Okay.
So I'm working for Equestria Daily. Season 4 has started, and people submit their videos to me. And the first T-Bap was submitted to me, and I thought, this is fucking dog shit.
Sure.
Because the audio is so bad that I can't listen to it. And I'm just like, who are these guys? What is this shit?
Who are these plucky young heroes? Who do they think they are?
But then, like, literally 2 weeks later, I get submitted another one that's got, like, vastly superior art and audio. It's got, like, a whole intro segment that's hilarious.
Yep.
It's got these legendary pony designs. You guys had easily the best OCs in the fucking entirety.
Agreed.
You're, like, including
our OC game was on point.
If you include the whole... like all the characters you guys made up for that one video.
Sticky Situation.
Like that, those are
Horse Fister.
Look, most of our audience doesn't know MLP.
Yeah.
They don't appreciate how meaningful this statement is.
Yeah.
Because there are hundreds of thousands of My Little Pony OCs.
It's true.
And there are some very creative people who made them. There are a lot of great ones. There are ones who have had whole fandoms, like fan-made OCs with fandoms exist.
Right.
Like a Snowdrop or something,
Right, yeah.
You guys made the best OCs in the entire fucking fandom.
It's true. I think
and never got the credit you deserved for
it was funny. We never appeared in like those big group shots of everybody, and it's entirely because we were like a little too original, with our art. Like Ben, we made a big mistake by not playing it like exactly like everybody else was doing.
Yeah.
So like including us, somebody like eventually made like vectors, but even then they never showed up in anything. Like Ben's designs were like cartoony and like had their own style going on, and they were.
I think that was just because like this is a big part of how the Horseshoe Crew, which later became the PCP, came together. Is that we all respected one another's work, and I think a lot of what we were like pissed off about at the time was that like I was famous, but I had like a kind of squeaky clean character, which when I eventually changed it, people were mad about.
Yes, they were.
But like you guys never did. The T-Bap and Jesse,
we had a swear in our name, dude.
Yeah,
edgy.
Well, and you guys, you'd make constant misogyny jokes and shit.
Yeah, especially me.
And like that kind of shit just didn't fly in that community because there's a bunch of fucking autistic children who didn't want that, who just like couldn't parse what was a joke and what wasn't.
I always thought like we had a certain atmosphere that didn't get as much shit. Like I think the number one thing I ever got shit for was one time when I got really mad at. There was an episode where Pinkie Pie kept making Fluttershy cry, and I was like, I think it's fairly in character, but like I was being like, oh, that Pinkie Pie is such a like fucking autistic piece of shit faggot, and like it was the way that I like vindictively called her autistic. The audience got really mad, and I wonder why they'd be sensitive about that word.
Well, like, and that's the thing. Like, even for me, like, I liked you guys' stuff, like you guys and Jesse, but even I would like hesitate to post it on Equestria Daily because I knew I'd get shit for it.
Sure,
I'd gotten shit from my own videos for saying that kind of stuff.
The whole point of the Phantom Horde character is specifically to mock transsexual people.
Yeah,
like that's what the character is.
Transgender people.
Right, transgender. Yeah.
Like, I mean, and like. MLP fandom was highly steeped in like.
And by the way, we have no hatred for them. We just think it's funny. It's this whole. It's just hilarious.
Well, that's the thing. Like MLP fandom was highly steeped in like neoliberalism and a lot of social justice stuff, and like we're not even really like idealistically opposed to that kind of stuff. Yeah. We just are willing to make fun of shit, and those, like, a lot of them aren't. And
that's
it
the
just
big problem
comes down
with that
to
whole
the
movement.
Yeah, and that's why, like, promoting T-Bap and promoting Endless Chess or Drowning in Horseshoes was always really difficult for me, because, like, I couldn't bring people to that, and it would affect the way people looked at me too. People would be like, "Oh, why are you associating with them?" You know, I'm like, "Well, because I think it's funny," but like, and because I'm working for Equestria Daily, who now I have to represent their interests and stuff, and like. When we would do, when people would draw those crowd shots, like, they'd leave out you guys, I think, for that reason. You know, like, I think some of them knew about you guys and just didn't like you because you were transgressive.
Well, okay, you know what? Entirely possible. I'm sticking with my theory that it's because our art designs were too different. Because these people did not have standards.
There was a lot of those, like, big crowd
they put,
shots.
Like, fucking 50 subscriber nobodies.
Yeah, exactly. There'd be literal nobodies in these, and yet Drowning in Horseshoes and T-Bap wouldn't be there. And sometimes Gibbon was. You know, sometimes
he was in there way more than the rest of us. Yeah,
and he was never aggressive. He was never, like, you know, offensive or anything. I think it was mostly that you guys were offensive to the bronies, and they're
maybe
like
right.
literally a bunch of fucking pussies about it. You know, like, because they really were. Like, I knew people who were extremely squeaky clean, who didn't even who even had a darker sense of humor but wouldn't show it.
Yeah,
you know, and like I mean,
Cat's
you saw what happened to me.
For example.
Well, she's.
I don't know anything about her.
No. She.
I like that one song she made. Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway. I got in a lot of trouble with her. She blocked. She literally told me to stop listening to her music.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yo, white people, don't listen to my music. Hashtag Cat's Millionaire.
Yeah. She wasn't black. But
I'm making a joke. I like that rapper who told white people not to listen to his music. Or
Kanye West.
Not Kanye West. Was that like you made a thing about this? Like there was some.
Milo. Well, he didn't say white people don't listen to it. He just gets mad at white people who say nigga, even if it's like singing along to his songs.
Right.
You know.
Nigga, fuck off.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I really think. Like, you saw what happened when I made my pony start smoking. Yeah. Like, people flip shit on me.
Is that weed? Oh my god, cigarettes are evil. Fuck.
But this is a children's show, and what if children watch your videos and get influenced to smoke? Like, I'm not even portraying it as a good thing that my character smokes. I'm portraying him as, like, a half-dead, tired, don't be like me kids abomination.
People don't want to look into, like, the whole... When it comes to anything, like, questionable or even slightly edgy, they're not interested in context.
No.
They're just... I mean, it's like the Anita Sarkeesian thing. Like, if you're showing X, you're supporting X. Whether you say so or not. Like, context is irrelevant. If you show, like, a sexy woman, that's you know, just, like, whatever. You're objectifying or whatever. It's that same argument. It doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous. Though, it's only ridiculous. Okay, you know what? Maybe Anita's right. If everyone is really stupid and if nobody's thinking about it, maybe that's the problem.
Which is not the case.
Which I don't think is actually the case, if people are paying attention.
I think most people who take offense to things are taking offense on behalf of other people who aren't actually being affected. You know? How far in are we on this?
2.5 hours.
2.5?
Yeah.
All right. So you started up T-Bap.
Yep.
How did that go? Because you guys got... That channel was not unsuccessful.
No, in
fact, it took a long time for you to pass T-Bap on As Best Guy Ever.
I just did it recently.
Yeah.
Right before, like the Galco video, I finally reached my goal of 17,000 subscribers, which was a big deal for me because I never got there with T-Bap, and I was always like, oh, we're so close. I mean, it was a meme number, because like it was just like, oh, yeah, now we'll get like the next 1,000. Now we'll get the next 1,000. And it happened to be that T-Bap never quite got to 17,000. And it was always like, shit, fuck, I want to do that someday. So I finally did it, and then Galco happened immediately, and the channel doubled in size within a week.
Yeah.
And
that's how it tends to happen.
And then Mia Maffeva happened, and it didn't like have an explosion, but I've gained like 4,000 subscribers or so over the course of Mia Maffeva or something.
Yeah.
And I know I've got a long way to go, but this is like huge progress for me. And my Patreon is like exploding a little bit right now, so it's everything great. All good things are happening right now to me. But you know, for T-Bap itself, you know, T-Bap was great. It was another like confidence boosting thing, because you know, again, I was a different man than I had been like a couple years ago. I was more confident and willing to do things that were, you know, would have scared me off, you know, in my childhood. But it was doing it, getting some success, getting some positive feedback was really good for me. And especially at that time in my life where I was working these shitty jobs and, you know, didn't have my degree, was like student loan debt, having to pay that shit off all the time, like no money, living with my parents, you know, no girls, you know, at all at this time, and yeah, it was just really shitty. But TBAP gave me something to feel good about in my life. I was really achieving something that was making an impact. It was making people happy and was earning me even a little bit of money on the internet. It was amazing to me. It blew my mind. And I was able to work with Ben, which was usually very good, because Ben is a very competent guy, but needs the spurs put to him on occasion. So, you know, it just was a very positive change to get, I don't know, to really understand that, like, yeah, if I set my mind to something, I can fucking do it. I can achieve this shit, which I'd already kind of understood, like, with the whole, you know, girl thing in college. It was just, like, this was like a professional validation, and it was at this point that I was starting to wonder, like, I really had those thoughts of, like, what is the point of, like, all this school shit I've done? Like, why have I spent all this time slaving away at something that I don't even want to do? Like, I so easily just fell into this, like, you know, career, quote-unquote career at this point, that, like, I'm passionate for and I love doing and is earning me money and could theoretically be a way to live. And, like, I talk about how, like, the most productive time in my life, now it's Mia Mathova, but, like, before Mia Mathova happened, like, and I'm a ridiculously hard worker on my videos. It's just they really do take that long to come out because I have to work all the time, and I have to, like, go to the gym and shit that takes up time. But, like, every Saturday was New Pony Day, and it's time. Nothing else matters. All that matters is that we get the fucking pony episode done, and people probably don't remember this, but we consistently were the first review out on the Saturdays, despite being also the best review. We did it every week. I mean, our only competition was guys like, like Dr. Wolf would get his out real quick.
Granted, you had the advantage of it was unscripted. But
True.
Yeah.
We would have our intro skits and shit, though, and animations and all that stuff going on.
But you did those in the week leading up to it.
Well, the animations we had to do during the thing. Yeah. Well, I mean, what's your point? Like, yeah, we planned, dude.
Well,
we planned. We were playing the game.
I'm just saying that, like, it was impressive, but, like,
yeah,
you know, there was, like, a certain team of people who was the day ones, and it was, like, me, you guys, and Tom were always, like, the first starting line, like, these guys are going to be out. And you'd always beat me.
Right.
Just by virtue of being on script. Like, if I hadn't written my videos.
This is a personal ego thing for you. I see. Okay.
Well, I'm not saying, I wasn't even really trying for, like, being first. I was always just trying to have that day.
That was our goal.
So, like, oftentimes I would, like, you know, dick around for a few hours or something. Yeah, but, like, I think in terms of, like, we were probably working at the same speed. I just was writing out all the videos, you know.
Sure. we had some advantages. You know, we had two people doing the work,
right?
Etc. And yeah, but is that the fact that we worked on our intros and outros ahead of time? I think
the intros and outros were magical.
Good thing about us. Yeah, like we worked really hard on them.
And it's not easy to get all those fucking poses.
No, it's not.
Organized.
Plus, like, the original art Ben would generate, like, to this day, I still love some of those. Like, do you remember the one of, Love Lesson 0? For one of our fucking intros, Ben made a full, like, fake, faux, love, what's the word I'm looking for? Like harem, fucking visual novel is the word I'm looking for. He made, like, a love visual novel intro thing with, like it was Keg as, like, a character was playing, like, some guy who was hoping to date this girl, and then, like, Spike was, like, a badass, and Twilight was, honestly, like, the nice girl. Like, it was nuts.
To our audience, if any of you have never seen any of TBAP because you don't care about MLP, I feel like we've done a real disservice, all of us in the procrastinators, to ourselves by, like, insisting that our MLP days are, like, a meme that are in the past and we're, like, ashamed.
I suppose.
We all did a lot of great work back then that people should go back and see.
Phantom Reviews, like, that is great. Peg Reviews is great.
Don't even go to TBAP and just watch the intros to all the videos, because the intros were fucking awesome.
And some of the outros were great.
There's one where it was like, it was live action Phantom Horn trying to draw something, and he had, like, actual hooves.
We worked so hard on that.
How did you do the hooves?
Okay, what we did was, like, I think that was my idea. I had seen some video of, like, someone with hooves, and I was like, I've got an idea. Let's do, like, a live action drawing thing. So we bought some hooves. Like they're like you can just buy online like these like rubbery horse hoof like glove type things that go all the way up to like your elbow. And we spray painted them blue. We just spray painted them blue so they look like phantoms. And then we used like our setup for filming that thing was so fucking jank. We taped like one of our like Samsung Galaxy 2s to like the top of a thing and like filmed downward, and like we had to do so many takes of all that shit, like trying to get it just right.
I mean, and essentially the joke is that he tries to draw, but he has hooves, so he spills ink all over everything.
The joke is that Phantom Phantom is doing like a how to draw. He's fucking up everything horribly, and then somehow at the end he ends up with this like beautiful drawing. Yeah. It's like, and that's how you do it. That's how you fucking do it.
Yeah.
Great skit. Love it.
Yeah, these guys would put out like the opening skits of T-Bap were literally better than anything else happening in the pony community, unless it was from like me or Jesse or Hippo or Gibbon. And I'm not saying it was worse than any of those, just that those were also not terrible.
It's true.
And Jesse's stuff, like I actually have had people tell me that they've finally gone and watched the horseshoe reviews and been like, holy shit.
They are that good.
They are legitimately incredible. Don't even watch My Little Pony. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just go watch the horseshoe reviews, watch the intros to T-Bap, watch at least like Gibbon finale or something, or his last one where Gibbon sails off and dies.
Except now he's back. He's a pirate boy again.
Yeah, and I'm sure I had something worthwhile. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Something that's worth revisiting.
Yeah, it was good times, and we picked out the other people that we recognized as not incompetent, and actually with interesting things to say, and we eventually got together, and and I mean just to tell the story again because it's fun and I like it. I think like the first time we interacted was when like Ben and I were big fans of all you guys, and specifically Jesse and Gib were our favorites, and we respected you as an authority figure, and enjoyed your content, but we just liked the personality they showed of like the goofy shit as opposed to like the information.
Because I was never funny.
Yeah,
my videos were like really fucking.
We came to your videos when you were like, okay, let's get serious about what the fuck this episode's about.
Jesse was the one who was making like Jesse's content, it didn't matter that it was about My Little Pony. It was just like these masterful like films that he was putting together,
So one day, like Ben and I, the first thing we did was we decided like I came up with this goof of like, let's say for like President's Day is coming up. Let's pretend it's Valentine's Day in this intro, and we'll say we're doing a special love episode with Digibrony. And so we did this whole gag where you don't show up, and then at the very end. It's this whole like crazy like zooming out weird high concept thing where like the whole episode takes place constantly zooming out from within the universe deep within Digibrony's eye, and then like at the end like we've zoomed out all the way and you appear and you go, it stinks, and then My Little Pony, the end of the episode. God, it was a fucking great bit. It was so good. I'm so proud of that one. The editing was tight and perfect at that moment. So, and yeah, I don't know, whatever. Like, you recognized at that point. And then Gib, actually, this is before that. Gib made, like, a thing where he showed us in, like, his big analysis roundup videos. He animated us a little. We loved that. But then eventually, I don't even know how, of course, we did the Q&A. And the Q&A, and you found out that we loved you guys. And at some point, there was a conversation where we all decided to do a horse cast, blah, blah, blah. We all got together and started doing stuff and became friends and just kept doing that shit.
We're rushing through this part because we've told this story so many fucking times.
Exactly.
Like, hopefully this isn't your first PCP interview or episode because, like, we've literally told this fucking story of how we all met dozens of times.
Certainly dozens of times, yeah. And that's showbiz.
How far in are we?
We are 2 hours, 38 minutes.
38 minutes?
38.
Feels like we've reached 3 hours.
I know, it feels
I'll just
long.
keep asking you about shit, I guess.
Is there anything else I can talk about?
Yeah, well, so T-Bap, you guys kept doing it for...
We stuck with it for a while.
I want to emphasize this as well, that when Season 4 ended, me and Hippo were done. Or Gibbon at the time.
Mostly, yeah. I think they did like a couple more here or there.
Gibbon's, like, his final video came out like a couple months later, I think.
Yeah.
But after that, he did like the one about Klopp or whatever, and one about Diamond Tiara, and that was
he doesn't like. I love that video. I think it's great.
I think he just doesn't like the way people react to it or something like that.
Yeah, that's probably poison the well or something.
But he went on for a little while but didn't really go farther. I quit after season 4. I hardline stopped covering My Little Pony, stopped watching it, never talked about it again.
He left the fandom, that piece of shit.
I did. I actually...
How dare you?
So for those who don't know, this is a huge meme in the My Little Pony fan. Not even a meme, something they take seriously.
It's an offense. You committed a crime.
Well, it's like you either are in or out. You're
either an ally or an enemy.
There's no waning interest or hey guys, I just want to work on other stuff. It's like if you're not still producing My Little Pony content, then you have left the fandom. And that's the phrase they use.
Yep.
And it's a huge offense, to leave the fandom. It's
very silly. It's very
silly.
So
I left the fandom, and Gibbon wasn't really doing much. But Jesse took a whole fucking year putting together Horseshoe Finale. He wasn't done until 2015.
Yep.
And then you guys came back for season 5 did the whole fucking season in podcast form, just without the animations.
I was already on the fence. There was much discussion as to whether or not to even do it because we had other ideas.
And the only reason you did was because the Patreon.
Because we had active. Patreon. It's and Ben was a big driving force for that stuff, wanting to do it for the money. And nothing against him, I understand, but season 4 ended. There was a huge gap between season 4 and 5, and that's when you guys got out the big gun videos. Is that when we did
Phantom Reviews? Had to have been in that time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Because you guys were working on huge projects that were kind of operating in the background of the weekly reviews, which again come together in an hour.
Right.
We all were it's funny to think that we're currently in this period of let's get back to making smaller, easier videos when we all launched our careers by doing videos that we made in literally a couple hours.
That's the fascinating thing about it that I think about a lot. I'm sort of lamenting to myself the fact that the Pony days were perfect for me in terms of the time crunch, because having that deadline of get it out as soon as fucking possible. You gotta meet this goddamn deadline. Be the first. Having that goal in my framework of how we were making videos was so helpful for a guy like me who does have a tendency to get lost in the details and obsess over little things that ultimately just to have diminishing returns. Having that crunch time was so good. And that's why I describe it as the most productive time in my life, working on those, except for MF. That was the best.
Yeah. MF unquestionably is vastly more
I cut down on this is the first time in my life I really have cut into my sleep and my ability to live to make content in a big way. And we're talking 2 hours of sleep a night. And it was hard. And I fueled myself with coffee and caffeine and God, I don't know what my work guys were thinking of me. I mean, I did the work, but I don't know. I don't know. I maybe it was okay. I really don't remember. Hopefully it was okay and it wasn't a big deal. I often think about what would my coworkers think if they knew
what you were really
all this shit. And I regret it, but I have told them that I do this shit, and I have shared the channel name just because what are you gonna do if they's hey, what's your channel? What are you gonna say? Oh, I don't want to talk about it. You gotta, I don't know, you just gotta pony it up.
Yeah.
Hey, I love My Little Pony. So I wonder if any of them are watching. I wonder if any of them. I'm walking around in my work, right? All these guys are working on software development and shit. They're thinking about, enterprise-level systems, deploying to, various companies, fucking Boeing and Honeywell, big defense contractors and shit. I'm thinking about, I gotta go home and work on this, anime review and, tell, 17,000 people and now, getting close to 40,000 people how good fucking Angel's Egg is. And, how... Fucking Code Geass is written like shit.
How great this one obscure boss in this new Kingdom Hearts spin-off
That's an important video.
Fucking game is.
I like that video. That was good. That's a message that I'm really glad I got to get out. God, thank God for me and Math enabling me to get out all these things that I had bottled up.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm so excited about, is that me and Math to me, the funny thing about it is that to you it was put in as little effort as possible, but what it really represents to me is a middle ground.
That is my low effort, the middle ground. That's as low effort as I can go.
It's a middle ground because for me, my content has gotten to a point where it's all either a good enough script that Devu can do it, or I'm gonna do it, and therefore it's going to be nothing. You know, like I am not going to do anything with this except for what is required for it. It's not that my content is like all exactly the same. Sometimes something different or interesting happens, but like Mia Mafova kicked it up a little. Like I look at it and I think, okay, this is like what I'm doing, but if I actually thought about each video and like what I could. Basically, if I thought of it as a video you can make in a day instead of a video you can make in an hour. I was explaining this to you. That, like, to me, there's the two kinds of videos I make are a written video, which takes a day or two, and then it's out of my hands. Or a vlog, which is, it has to be done in one sitting. You know, like one concentrated burst, and I can do 4 of them in a day. And Mia Mafova, to me, was like, oh, this is what the middle of that would look like. Of, like, I can spend a few hours on a video. And I mean, I've done stuff like this before. I don't know if you ever saw my Handfuls of Zen videos.
Sure, I've seen those.
Yeah,
at least most of them.
That's like very similar mindset to me and Mafova, which is like it's unscripted.
The people want more of those, you know. The people
I want to make more
them.
of those.
Yeah, okay.
And like it's that combination of like unscripted, but there's lots of notes and there's a level of editing to it, and there's like prep work to be done. It can be done in a day, but it's, you know, it's not something that's just fucking I turned on a camera and then uploaded it.
Right.
You know, and like what was so exciting to me watching Mia Mafova was like, if like all I could think was if you put out just, I mean, even 4 of these a month. Yeah. Like if you put the level of effort that it took to make 3 Mia Mafovas into one video and released it once a week, this is the greatest channel of all time. You know, like one video a week at the level of 3 Mia Mafovas of effort. And you can do 7 Mia Mafovas of effort in a week if you had to, but you're not going to time crunch yourself like that for the rest of your life. But if you left your job, you could put 7 Mia Mafovas of effort in a day.
That's why it's really not a joke. Like, what a big difference me leaving my job will really make. This is not a meme to trick people to get money out of you. It really will be a world-changing thing for my channel. And if you care about getting more content faster, that's the thing to do.
I hope people like really sit back. I know it's harder for the audience because they don't make videos to like fully process the difference here. But like Nate spent those 2 months that you worked on like the Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer video. Yeah. Like I won't say you were working as much as you did during Mia Mafova, but true. Like that was consistent work.
Every night. I worked every day. My evenings were editing for 2 months. That's what they were.
Yeah. And that video was, you know, it was overdone. You shouldn't have spent that long on it.
Agreed.
But, like, imagine...
You can see the work that's in it, though. You can see it.
Imagine, though, if you could have done that with... If you didn't have a day job, you could have done it in 2 weeks, you know?
Yep.
And with Mia Mafova, those 30 videos, like, you could have done... If you didn't have a day job and you had done Mia Mafova exactly the same way, you literally could have done 2 months. Like, you could have just cut out the time you spent at work and done another Mia Mafova in that time.
Without
and
it
could have been 2 videos a day, and that could have been 2 months worth of content. If you guys want to see Best Guy Ever stockpile, like, you know, I mean, let's say you didn't have to work for 2 months and you decided to do Mia Mafova level videos all day, every day. Yeah. You're going to end up with like a year. Let's say you stagger the releases for once a week. You've got a year of videos in 2 months.
You know, I hear you on that. But, you know, one thing that people don't really talk about as much that I think a lot about when it comes to Mia Mafova is how I really went out of my way to make it an event, to make it a spectacle. Yeah. That's my Huey's Law in action right there.
Which is great. Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's got its own theme song, it's got its own logo, it's got merchandise.
And only you could deliver on that. Yeah. Because I fall into this trap that I've talked about continuously, and it's a real psychological principle that if you talk about something you're planning to do, you're less likely to do it, because it gives you the vindication of, like, you know, just describing it makes you feel like you did it. And you don't fall into that. You talk about stuff years in advance.
Well, yeah,
you know?
That's true. That's true.
Like, I mean, I've known about your Ghost in the Shell video for 2 fucking years.
I announced it 2 years ago, but yeah.
Like, I mean,
I did not give up on it at all at that point.
Yeah, like, there's just this somehow you are just disciplined in a way that you could. If I had announced Mia Maffeva, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and as you may know, I did a whole month of a video every day,
right?
October 2014, and I never mentioned what I was doing until like the last video.
Really?
Or it's towards the end. I did a video on the first 3 episodes of Shirobako, and I said like, "Oh, as somebody who's been doing this deliberate 1 video a day all month, and here's the fucked up part." No one noticed I was doing it. Not one commenter ever mentioned that I'd done a video every day all month.
Between yours and mine,
yeah.
that difference right there.
Just because mine were of such, like, my audience was, like, weird and in this transitional phase into anime. So, like, some of the videos would be, like, the biggest video I've ever made, and then another one would have, like, 1,000 views, you know? So, like, people just weren't seeing all of them.
Was this because you were afraid that you might not miss a deadline or something?
It was 100% that I was afraid if I talked about it, I wouldn't finish it.
That's okay.
Because that had proven true every time I've ever talked about a project.
I mean, because I'm with you on that, but to focus on me, because my problems matter more than yours.
This is your interview.
That's right. The fear I had, which was definitely a fear, and of course it's inevitable with this, is that I would fail, is that I would mess up. Yeah. I actually had some other ideas in mind beforehand that I floated around with a couple people just seeing what...
Well, I think this is why you can do it and I can't, is because you're way more afraid of failure than I am.
That's true.
Because what actually would have been the consequence of Mia Maffeva failing?
Me being embarrassed.
Exactly. That's it.
That's
like,
it.
Your audience would have been like, well, he couldn't do it. What an asshole.
Yeah,
you know, like you would have felt like dumb for a couple days, maybe a couple weeks. I don't care about that. Like I fuck up so frequently that it doesn't matter. Like I've got a character as somebody who like, you know, like my audience literally doesn't expect me to finish anything that I start because I've started so many shows that just clear. Die.
Yeah.
But like for you, like just the sheer level of like I can't fail at this.
Yeah, that's true.
Carried it all the way through.
Yep.
And that's a good thing. I think it's a healthy mindset to have. If you're proud of the product and you know.
And I always am. Yeah.
You look very tired.
I am somewhat tired. We're almost at 3 hours.
Yeah.
We can crank out a little more.
Some of them are like a few minutes short of 3 hours. It doesn't have to be exact.
I want 3 hours. God damn it. Let's talk about...
I'm wondering if somebody finally interviews me in this series, like, is it going to be 3 hours or am I going to... Because there's like a thing
Yours will be like everyone's to combine. We're talking like a 25-hour interview here.
That'd be fucking epic.
It would be epic.
It really depends on who's interviewing me and how long are they willing to go.
Maybe we could, you know, I was wondering about that. Maybe we could split it up. Everyone does a piece, you know.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
That'd be interesting, right? Yeah. Could all come with our questions.
I feel like nobody's curious enough about me to want to do an interview.
We know everything.
Yeah,
you know?
There's nothing left.
We'll have to come up with something.
Yeah.
What's your favorite anime?
Why are you asking me? What's your favorite anime?
I'm filling time, Digi.
You want me to go through?
We're almost there. We can do it.
I know your favorite anime is Gurren Lagann. Your favorite manga is One Piece.
Yeah.
Your favorite movie is American Beauty.
That's true. That's true.
You want to say anything?
I'd be happy to. And I think if anybody's seen American Beauty, you'd understand very much why. It is a movie about casting off the shackles of societal expectations and like embracing your dreams is really what it's about. And every character in the movie does that to an extent, or like in their own way. For example, I'm going to spoil this movie, by the way, so if you give a shit, I'd highly recommend watching it. So, you know, do whatever you want. But so the main character, Kevin Spacey, he wants to fuck his teenage daughter's hot ass like girlfriend, like her buddy. And she's like captain of the cheerleading squad. She's like a model. Mena Suvari, whatever, some famous actress. Like he wants to fuck this girl, and she's 17, 18, something along those lines. So she's pretty darn young. And like he sets up his whole life where he did like, so he worked this like shitty corporate job. And he fucking hated it. It's actually very similar to Fight Club in a lot of ways. Like he just says fuck it one day. I'm done. And I'm you know, it's slipping my mind right now because it's been a little while since I've seen the show. Why exactly he does it, I have to think about that. Oh, I remember. It's because he meets a new neighbor. A new neighbor moves to town, like the weird kid who gives him some weed. And he gets high, and he just has some revelation. You know what? Fuck this shit. I'm done. He quits his goddamn job in a brilliant way. Like, he literally says, like, to his boss, like, because they're doing, like, corporate restructuring, look, I'm going to quit now. And if I'm going to say that you asked me if you could blow me and sexually harassed me, if you don't give me, like, a huge severance package. And, oh, by the way, the movie starts with him just saying, like, as an announcer, I'm going to be dead in 1 year. So know that going in. That's just how it starts. So he does this. Oh, and he also has, like, some information about, like, shady business dealings the company's been doing. Anyway, he finally, like, mans up and uses his leverage to fuck over this company that's been screwing him and not treating him, like, the way that he deserves to be treated. And he pieces. And he leaves. And, like, now he's got, like, this money where he can just live on for, like, a while. He's got, like, a year's salary, which lines up perfectly with, like, the time he's going to die at the end. And he immediately goes and gets a shitty job at a burger joint just to get another job. Just because he's like, I want to do something with my life. And so he starts working there because he wants a job with zero responsibility anymore. Like, this guy is just unburdening himself. That's what he's unburdening himself with the shackles of, like, of his job, and, like, then his family is another huge thing. So he's got his wife Carolyn and his daughter Judy, whatever. And his wife is a frigid bitch who is, like, just not, I don't know, they don't vibe, you know, they've grown apart over the years. They used to be really into each other. But, like, so he starts, like, exercising, right? He starts working out, and over the course of the year, he gets fucking fit. He gets swole to an extent, you know, as much as you can get in a year. And it's just about this self-improvement shit, right? Like something happens to this guy. He has an awakening. He's like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to take charge of my life and actually go for the things I want. So I think you can tell why something like that would appeal to me. But it's not just about that guy, because all the other characters do it too. Like Carolyn, his wife, she starts cheating on him. She starts having an affair, but she is, like, so happy and empowered by it that, like, it's not good to cheat on people, but what she's realizing is, like, I have been unhappy in the situation I'm in. I need to do something. I need to, like, change. This has got to end. This is no good. And so she has her own little development arc related around that. And the daughter, Judy, I believe it's Judy, like, you know, she's best friends with this girl that, like, her father lusts after. And she feels, like, so self-conscious and, like, thinks she's ugly and all this shit. And this new neighbor kid moves to town, and he introduces her. He, like, makes her believe that she's beautiful and, like, makes her feel happy for the first time in her life. And they fall in love, and they, you know, do, and it's totally hot. She totally shows her tits.
Nate just mimed to be like finger.
I did the finger. I did the hole in your finger and put your other finger through the hole. Yeah, they did the sex. It was sick. And it's about, you know, it's about all that shit. It's about, like, just saying fuck it and just doing what you really want to do with your life and not giving a fuck what anybody thinks anymore. That's what it's really about.
I can't remember if I talked about this in Ben's interview or where I did, but like that I'm endlessly fascinated by the fact that your favorite movie is American Beauty and his is American Psycho.
That's one of my favorites, but that is interesting, isn't it?
That they're both, like, not just that the titles are the same, but just the idea, like, one is all about, like, this vision of self-betterment and, like, becoming the perfect you, and the other one is about, like, this underlying insane neurosis behind everybody. Yeah. And I just feel like it matches up with both of you perfectly. Like,
isn't that interesting?
You guys are... You and Ben, to me, have always been, like mirror reflections of the same person, like a nega version. Yeah. Like one of you is the nega version of the other. I don't know which. You know,
because Ben and I talk, and I've come to understand through a lot of our, like, the PCP conversations, I have this extremely optimistic view about people, how, like, I really think that humanity can, like, evolve and develop and change, and, you know, like, there is a future for us if we work hard at it and strive to achieve it. Ben is extremely not like that. He's like, no, people are fucked, you know, why are we wasting our time with this shit?
Weird because that's, like, that seems like such a fundamental difference, but, like, aside from, like, the basic mindset you two have, like, the actual, like, person is extremely similar. Yeah. Like, the ways you talk and think and act are very similar, but then, like, the mentality is totally different and, like, almost opposed.
Maybe it goes to show that, like, because Ben and I, you know, we grew up together, exposed to all the same shit for the most part, that, like, that part of your brain, like, your your fundamental like psychological, or not psychological, philosophical approach to like the way you live, maybe it's less impactful on your personality than we would assume. You know, maybe we are a little more divided in our brains than we think.
Yeah, maybe you have the same left brain but totally different right brains or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, that's nobody fucking science me on that. I'm just spitballing philosophical.
And by the way, I just wanted to say that at the end of American Beauty, what is the best thing about that movie is that the way it ends is wonderful. It ends with, so at the beginning of the movie, Kevin Spacey says like, I'm going to be dead in a year. Here's like the story of that year. So all these crazy things happen. Like everybody changes their life. All this crazy improvements are happening. And Kevin Spacey at the end, through some shenanigans that are just too complex to go into, he ends up getting murdered by his next door neighbor. Okay, well, his next door neighbor is like the father of the new kid who's changed everybody's life. That guy is like a military dad, but he's actually gay, and he's been repressing it like his entire life. And over the course of the movie, you find out that like, oh wow, this guy's actually gay. And like on this last night, he's like feeling really vulnerable because his son is gonna run away with the daughter. Like they've had this gigantic fight. So he just walks over to his neighbor. Like he ends up at Kevin Spacey's garage, and he's just like, it's raining, and he's like, what the fuck's happening? And Kevin Spacey's just like, hey, come in. No, it's okay, man. What's I'll take care of you. What's going on with your life? And he ends up kissing him. And so like it's at that moment that the colonel or whatever realizes like, someone knows my fucking secret now. And long story short, like, so he comes over, he kills Kevin Spacey, he just shoots him in the back of the head from behind. But and what's cool about it is like all these characters are set up like they could be the one who killed Kevin Spacey. Like his daughter kind of has a reason to do it because like she's gonna run away and like he might try to stop her. And the wife actually has a gun and is headed home because like she's fed up with like the stuff that he's been doing to like get back at her for cheating on him with that other guy. So he gets killed by the next door neighbor guy, but like it's the way that he dies, and the film really focuses on this. Like he's looking at like a picture of his family, specifically I think of his little daughter when she was a little girl, and he's just like so overjoyed that he was able to experience like the life of his daughter and like his wife when they were in love, and like he gets shot and he's dying. And like the characters, like they come in, they see him dead, but they look at him and he's smiling. And there's this speech at the end of how like when you're dying, it's not like the lights go out instantly. It's that all the experiences of your life like stretch out like a vast ocean, and you just witness them as they're passing you by, and it goes on to an infinite degree. So it's almost like you never actually die. It's just like your existence continues forever. And like the takeaway from that is just like that's the value that life has. And don't waste it on bullshit that you don't give a fuck about. Do things that are meaningful to you and you find value in and bring you joy and legitimate, satisfaction. And, as a guy who lived like a little faggot bitch for a long time in his life and then something changed and I decided to do things differently, things like that, guys like Kamina who just do whatever the fuck they want to do and don't give a shit about the consequences. Even though I'm not that guy, I really want to be, and I work to be more like that. There you go. That's me.
Sick.
It's the best guy ever.
Gains, bruh. Are we at 3 hours yet?
We're past 3 hours. We're at 3:02.
Hey,
we did it. We did
it. A full analysis of American Beauty took us over the 3 hour
Yes, it
mark.
did.
Like, literally, you could
that
probably
could have been a video about
you could repackage that as a Mia Maffava.
Maybe I will. A Gia Maffava or June or something. Yeah. All right. Well,
Gia Maffava.
Well,
God may won't fucking end.
Yeah. I was thinking with a J, but that works.
Someone had pointed out in the comments on the Aramanga video that we did last night that it's like literally the night after Mia Maffava, so it basically isn't even over.
I know that I said in the last video, like, I probably won't even take a day off, and so I didn't, and we followed up, or maybe that was like actually a day later, but whatever.
Nor have you. This is also.
And yeah, here we are again. See, I'm not quitting, people. I'm the real deal. I'm committed.
We're not capable. Like, this is why you should be supporting both of us on Patreon.
Right.
We are human content machines. We don't have other purposes in this world.
That's exactly correct.
This is the only thing we know how to do.
I have eliminated all other distractions in my life deliberately so that I can focus on doing the thing that I have found brings me my satisfaction and my joy, just like Mr. Kevin Spacey would want from American Beauty.
Yeah, and if you like listening to me and Nate talk on these bullshit podcasts, get Nate's Patreon up to a point where he feels comfortable moving out.
Yeah.
Maybe he and I will more successfully than I did with Ben and Devu. Not that I had ever really planned those two to be like my guys that I was going to do stuff with.
Yeah.
But me and you have a lot of ideas of what we could do if we lived close together.
We sure do.
So move Nate and I nearer.
Yes.
You know? Nearer.
Yes,
not in the same house.
And you know what?
I'm done with that life.
Yeah. Ben is a lazy piece of shit. But you know, I might be willing to indulge him and just move to wherever he is to get him involved.
Atlanta's not a bad place.
Yeah.
And he wants us all to go there, and I wouldn't mind.
Like, I resent him for forcing me my whole life to just go along with his pace because he is the lazy piece of shit, and if I want him involved, I have to slave around what he wants. But, you know, in this case, it might actually work out pretty nice. Yeah. So, hey, maybe that'll happen.
Yeah.
Or somewhere else,
hashtag
whatever.
Get us all somewhere.
Yeah. Hashtag buy me out, nigga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed.
Look forward to Tom, Mage, and maybe me in the future.
We'll see what happens. Bye, guys.